Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Aso Tarot, and in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be meeting some of your spirit guides. I am so excited to do this reading today. I finally got the green light from Spirit to do it. So we have 5 different piles, each representing a different guide. We have pile 1 with the Lepidolite, pile 2 with the Aquamarine, pile 3 with the blue lace agate, pile 4 with the Rhodonite, and pile 5 with the Picasso Jasper. So what I want to tell you about this reading and about spirit guides in general is that we have multiple spirit guides, and we have spirit guides that are with us for our entire life on this earth, and we have spirit guides that come to help us during specific times of our lives, like during periods of transition or during particularly difficult or particularly good parts. So I'm very interested to see who is going to be coming out in these readings. With that being said, this is a case where it's absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one reading, because it's possible that multiple different guides have messages for you and they're trying to kill multiple birds with one stone here or stones to give you the messages that you need to hear, and also formally introduce themselves to you if you haven't gotten the opportunity to get to know them. So once you have picked your piles, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box below or the comment section, where I will have all of the timestamps for each pile listed, and then we will get into your reading and see who wants to meet you. Hi there, pile 1. If you guys chose this Lepidolite stone in the very first tarot card, this is going to be your reading and the spirit guide that is coming through for you. Now, a little disclaimer that I want to say before I start the reading is that because this is a general reading, I'm going to have different variations of what this card might mean and what this spirit guide might be for you. So it's important that you use discernment and focus on the messages that hit home the closest to you. So any tips on helping you with that? If you have chills at any point, I would definitely say that's confirmation. If I say anything and you're mentally or in your gut, you're just like, oh, yep, that's it, then that is what I would say is going to resonate closest with you, and that's the interpretation that's meant for you. So let's start with your tarot card, and the tarot card you got is Death. So I know that sounds a little bit grim, but I definitely think this card came out for a reason, and I think there are multiple different interpretations for this card. So for some of you, this is an ancestor or somebody that you were close to or had a close relationship to when you were young that passed away when you were young. This could be somebody that passed away when you were, like I said, I'm literally just saying the same thing. This could be somebody that passed away when you were young, or this is a guide that has been with you since you were born and will be with you until you cross over. This is definitely a guide that will be here to help you through all your major transitions in life. I feel like this is definitely a guide that's very, very big in your life. And so for me, it would make sense if this was like a grandparent, a great-grandparent for some of you. For others, I definitely think this is a guide that hasn't incarnated on this earth. They could have with you in the past, but I feel like they're heavily invested in your life and helping you get through the major transitions. This is definitely a guide that is with you during the highs, but especially the lows. This guide really... This is like the guide that's there with you during your darkest moments, that's there to get you through everything. Like, this is your ride or die guide. And they are also here to help you with your transitions as you move through different phases of your life. One thing that I get is that this guide is immensely proud of you. If they were alive or you knew them at one point, they could have been a Scorpio or known a lot about like the occult or things like that. It's quite possible this guide tries to communicate with you a lot, because it's almost like even if this guide was alive at one point and you knew this guide while they were alive, it's almost like they're even more active in death or in the spirit world. really tried to show you the bright sides of things. And the one thing that they're making clear to me is that they are always there when you are at your lowest. So definitely pay attention, like when you're having a really bad day or you're going through a rough time. Try to stay present and look for any signs, because I think that they try to give you signs all the time. All they want is for you to be victorious in anything and everything that you do. They have so much pride for you, and I feel like they've seen you in a lot of different stages of your life, which obviously they have if they've been watching you from the time when you were a little baby. So for some of you, I definitely feel like this is like a grandparent or an ancestor that's very close to you, that was there when you were born. And even if they have parted this earth, it's very important that they're there until your last moments, which I don't want to be grim. I'm sorry. I'm like not trying to be grim. But they're here to affirm that they're going to be with you through every stage of your life. Like they're going to be with you at your wedding if you haven't had it yet. They're going to be with you when you have kids. They're going to be with you if you ever want to. Any big events in your life, like you best bet, like they have a front row seat and they're there cheering you on with like a foam finger. One specific message I'm getting, like if this was a spirit, if this spirit guide was somebody that you knew when they were alive, if you had any types of like sporting events, or I'm hearing specifically sporting events, but it doesn't have to be sporting events. I just kind of get the image of like a very rowdy like grandparent, or like great uncle, great aunt, something like that, where they're just like the proudest ones there and they're really happy to cheer you on. For some of you, this could be a parent as well, if you had a parent pass when you were young or just at any point in your life. But for others, if this isn't somebody who passed away that you were really close to, this is definitely a guide that was like assigned to you when you were born. They're probably very close to you, part of your soul family, and they're going to be with you through all your transitions. And kind of one thing that I'm hearing, like I said, I don't want to freak you guys out, but like they're going to be with you, when eventually they're going to be one of the first spirit beings to help you. They're going to be with you through everything. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that because I don't want to be too grim and I don't want to like freak anyone out. But this guide is not going anywhere. This is going to be your ride or die. This is going to be your biggest supporter and somebody who will not let you down. Like, and so I feel the need to clarify, like, will not let you down. Like, they might not be able to control all the events in the natural world, but like no matter what happens in your natural world, rest assured that they're going to be trying to make it so that the most ideal outcome happens for you. So that's why it's really important that you pay attention to their signs, which we will get into those, the signs that they have for you, because they will be doing their best to try and communicate with you. If you have any sort of supernatural gifts like mediumship and stuff, I feel like this would definitely be your main guide that would work with you through that way, like through that method, because I do feel like they are very communicative, and I think that they kind of enjoy going back and forth between the spirit world and the 3D world. But this is definitely going to be somebody that's with you for your whole life, and they love you very, very much. So what we're going to look at now are 2 animal cards. So on these animal cards, we have attributes. So especially if this was somebody that you knew, this could definitely be some of the attributes that they have. But these are attributes that this guide either embodies or wants you to embody, or the qualities that they admire most. And then on top of that, there's animals here. So these could be, maybe these are animals that you see often, maybe these are animals that you have a special connection to. Whatever it may be, these are animals that this guide is saying, I will show up as this, this is me showing you my presence, if that makes sense. Because one thing I want to explain is that guides can show up as like any type of animal, but once your brain makes the connection, XYZ animal is me, then your guide is going to want to show up as that because they know that you'll get the message, if that makes sense. So Your guide will show up, number 1, the earnest elephant, gentleness, temperance, goodwill, pillar of patience and kindness, bless my heart with your gentle nature. And the serene swan, elegance, purity, and tranquility. Regal goddess cloaked in white feathers, bestow me on the gifts of love and beauty. So yeah, definitely for some of you, this is like a grandmother, grandfather type figure, great-grandmother, great-grandfather. This is definitely a guide that, one, I feel like if you've had a glow up recently, they want to tell you like how, one, they always knew that you would look like that, like you would, and I don't even want to say it's about looks. I feel like maybe it's more about just being more confident in yourself. Like they always knew you would get to this point. White feathers can also be a sign that they're around. There is a big kind of angelic energy to them. They definitely bring out the sweetest qualities a person or guide can have. Like I definitely feel like this is kind of this person, if they were incarnated and you knew them in that way, they were kind of like an earth angel. But what's really beautiful is that the elephant is all about not only gaining maturity, but moving past obstacles in somebody's way. So I feel like this guide is kind of once again saying like, I'm here to help you through all those obstacles. I'm here to help you mature. I'm here to help you gain wisdom. But not only that, I feel like they try their best to bring you peace even when life is hectic. And you may not notice that because the energies of life are pretty crazy at times. But blueberries could be significant, as could lilies. So lilies, blueberries, white feathers, swans, elephants, those are all energies that I'm seeing, or like signs that this guide uses. And in addition to that, with this tarot card representing them, I also kind of took this as, this is a tarot card. Like if you were trying to get in touch with this guide, for example, or see the presence of this guide, if you have tarot cards, this is also this guide's way of saying that I'm in this tarot card. So like if you were needing their advice and the death card pops out, well, take into account what the death card means, but this is also their way of saying, hey, I'm here, I'm listening to you, I know what's going on. So I wanted to see what they are helping you with right now, in addition to any major things they want you to know. So we have change, which I think is really fitting because the death card is Scorpio and it is all about the 8th house, which is endings and beginnings. So this, and what I kind of love about this and what's really beautiful is that this guide is really saying, no matter what happens in your life, no matter what changes, the one constant is that this guide is going to be by your side and they are going to help you through these changes. But one thing that's very important is that you not be afraid to ask them and say, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Because the spirit world is always willing to help us, but we have to be willing to ask for help, if that makes sense. Like they're not just going to intervene. Like they might if something, like, for example, let's say you're in a lot of danger and like they might be trying to give you signs, trying to intervene in that way, but like typically spirits won't really intervene with the human world. It's kind of not their territory. But yeah, this guide is really gentle. I feel like you'll know when they're around when you feel a sense of peace and you just feel calm no matter what's going on. But yeah, this guide is really patient with you, and never feel like this guide is like going to be upset with you or disapprove of you. They are very patient, and I feel like especially if this is a deceased parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, aunt, uncle, something like that, they are never going to like look at you with disappointment, because not only do they have the understanding of what it's like to be human and have that experience, but they've also seen you from the time you are young, and they have nothing but immense pride for who you are and what you've achieved. So the messages, the biggest messages that they want to convey are: priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? And then called, soul gifts and training, it's time to step up. So I feel like this change that you're going through is big. This could have to do with your life purpose. This could have to do with a step that your soul is asking you to do. If you are a spiritual type person or into the occult, this could kind of be your calling to get more involved in that. But basically what I'm seeing here is that this is also the guide that's going to give you nudges in the right direction to help you follow your soul's purpose. It's really important to them that you achieve what you're meant to achieve and get as far as you can on the path of your life. It's really cool. Like they're kind of like your biggest cheerleader and your biggest motivator wrapped into one. And as you can tell, the cards that came out for you guys are all about owning what you have and taking the necessary, not precautions, but necessary steps to move forward with your soul's calling. So whatever your soul's calling may be, I feel like this guide is saying that you're ready. You're ready for some kind of transformation. And I think that if you pick this pile, it's very likely that you're on the verge of some transformation. And especially if this guide is somebody that you knew on the earthly plane at one point or are related to. If you ever have moments where you just wish that this person was around and that they were here to see you do this, they see you. Like, don't worry, they see you doing all of it. And like I said, they're so proud of you, and they don't want you to look at them and not look at them. They don't want you to think of them and feel sad. They don't want you to think of them, especially if you were there during like their final days or something like that. They don't want you to think about them in that retrospect. They want you to think about them through their most positive memories that you have with them, because that is what that is their truest self. That is their truest version of what they want you to think of them as. And they don't want you to think about those certain times, because like no matter what happened in that case, like that was just things going through their physical body, but like that wasn't really an expression of their soul. That's not who they truly are. And like the soul's version of them is the brightest, most positive qualities that you remember, and like including these qualities. So I know I went on a tangent there, but I felt like that was important for some people. Now, with how are you being called to step up and lead as soul gives it's time to step up, it kind of seems like this guide has had a repeating message for you over and over, and maybe you haven't been necessarily listening to this message, or maybe you have been nervous to like take that on, and maybe you just are being stopped by fear or feeling like you're not ready. But this spirit guide is literally saying like I feel like they just want to grab you by the shoulders and say, hey, like you're ready for this. Come on, it's time. Like, you know, you've got gifts. And like this guide knows more than anything, because even if they weren't with you on the earthly plane, they've been with you since you were born. So they know exactly like what you're capable of and what you're meant to do. So this guide is definitely going to be the one that's like, you know, moving you along and getting you to do the things that you need to do. So to finish off, I really just wanted to get a message from them about, you know, what they want you to know. I wish I had my channeled messages. I can't find them. Hopefully I'll find them later, but I just wanted to see, like, in general, what this guide wants you to know, because clearly you're in a time of transition. Clearly this is a big time of change for you, and I think it's important that you know that this guide, you have this guide's full support. But let's see what they want to say specifically. So we have the Knight of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and Temperance. So I want to note that Temperance is out here twice. So the Temperance card could be significant as well. But I get a very specific message with this. Because you're in this time of transition, it kind of seems like what you're doing is pretty big, or you might be really afraid of it. What I'm hearing is keep your plans close to the chest for now, and be patient with this process. Be patient with yourself, and be patient with how this journey goes. I feel like one thing that this guide wants you to be clear about is that not only are you smart enough to achieve this, but it's going to bring you a lot of financial abundance as well. With the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords here, the biggest vibe that I'm getting is that this guide might speak to you through claircognizance. So if there are things that you just know and you don't know why you know them, I think that would be them. I also think that they might have a very distinct voice. So if you knew them on the earthly plane, you might hear their voice run through your head. That's them talking to you. If not, if this is not a guide that you knew when they lived on Earth, then I would say that they still communicate to you. It's just not in your voice, if that makes sense. Like, it's gonna be in a voice that is not yours, but still very calm and very kind. The biggest thing, this guide is very gentle, and it's kind of ironic because they have kind of I don't want to say like an intense presence, but they definitely have a huge motivating presence in your life, and they have a huge impact in your life, obviously. But the way that they go about communicating with you is very low key. It's very calm. It's very peaceful. And especially if you're a very anxious person, you might have a hard time hearing what they have to say to you, specifically because when your anxious thoughts or your nervous thoughts are running through your head, they kind of overpower the messages your guide is trying to give you. So I think meditation is going to be huge for you guys, but I feel like when it comes to whatever this endeavor is, they want you to save your money. Be very smart about how you spend your money. I'm also hearing a lot about saving and investing, even specifically like looking into like getting a Roth IRA or something like that if you don't have one. Or if this person left you like an inheritance of some kind, they want you to use that money to, I guess, like, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable giving messages about money, so just take these as they resonate. Obviously do what feels right to you, but if this person left you some type of investment, I feel like they either want you to save it towards this endeavor or use it to support you in this endeavor. If you have a child, I feel like they want you to know that they watch over this child as well, and they're really proud of child or children, and they are really proud of how good of a parent you are. Sorry, I'm getting a ton of different messages, so like I said, this is one where you have to take the ones that resonate. But they're saying that you are smart enough and capable enough to achieve this goal. And with Temperance energy here, it's just a matter of being patient. So when it comes to this endeavor, it's going to be really important that you balance practicality and logic. Don't be afraid to take a little bit of risk. You know, Sagittarius is about being a free spirit. It's about taking risks and like going after those yearnings of your soul. But at the same time, I do feel like this guide is wanting you to be as practical about it as you can. Also, networking is something that I'm hearing. If you need to do some type of networking, or you know of anybody or somebody might pop in your head that could help you with this, this guide is encouraging you to try and network more, but they want you to be very pragmatic in your approach. They want you to be very straightforward, very logical. When it comes to this endeavor, it's good to have some emotion invested in it, but they don't want you to make your decisions around this transformation based on impulsivity or like heavy emotions. They kind of want you to keep your plans close to the chest, especially because your plans when it comes to this endeavor might change over time. They might fluctuate. And so I feel like your guide just wants you to take it one step at a time. Trust that you're being led to certain endeavors, to certain experiences for a reason. And just be smart, be like, and also like, I think one thing is to don't beat yourself up about this goal. Like, if you might get too in over your head, or you might get too focused on certain goals when it comes to this, or you might be so driven that you forget to take care of yourself. So even if you don't have children, I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is really saying, you know, hey, you need to mother yourself sometimes. You need to take care of yourself. But it might be better for you at this time to be very calculated with your finances and start saving, so that you can create the life you want with this endeavor and also have the most resources possible. So I am going to finish off with some just encouraging messages from the universe, and I'm going to take them as messages from them, but clearly they already have thoughts, so let's just see. We have, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect in the world. So I definitely think that they could use, oh, that makes sense. It would be super easy for this guide to communicate with you during meditation, because that's when like your anxious thoughts and stuff like that, or your just regular everyday normal thoughts, that's when the communication from this guide won't be interfered with by your own brain, if that makes sense. And that is how you will be able to, that is how you can best communicate with them. And also prayer and meditation. Anytime you pray to this guide, anytime you talk to this guide, they hear you, they love you. And anytime you're feeling lost from this guide, just meditate or do something to get in a meditative state, because once you're feeling that energy of peace, you'll know your guide is with you. We also have, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Yes, I feel like this guide really wants you, this is a second owl as well. This guide really wants you to utilize your intelligence to your benefit, not to your detriment. So, you know, obviously, if you've heard the term ignorance is bliss, I feel like this guide, you have all these wonderful ideas, but then you might like overthink them and then decide not to do them, or procrastinate on doing them, or just go into like a think hole about it. So I feel like this guide is saying, you know, whenever you find your thoughts racing, that's kind of when you want to scale back and go back to that meditation energy, because that's what's going to help you see through those anxious thoughts, to know what messages are for you and like what the best ideas are. And then finally, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. And I love how similar this is to the called card. So I feel like when you're in a state of meditation, or you're focusing on the light inside of you, that's what's going to help you show like what you're called to do. And like this is also where you can really tap into this guide's encouragement for you, and their love for you, and their desires to see you succeed, because they do love you so much. And you know, it's easy to look at yourself and see yourself in a negative light, or see yourself in a negative way, but this guide will never see you that way. And I just want you to know that they just want you to know that they love you unconditionally, and that, you know, when it's hard to understand why you're good enough for this, or why you're being called to do this, try to look at yourself through their eyes, or tune into your inner light to understand why they see such wonderful things within you, and why you're totally capable of achieving them. So I'm going to see what's on the back of the deck, and we have I am the dreamer of my dream, which I think is so fitting, because they want you to follow your dreams. And another important message, they might visit you in your dreams. So if you ever have certain dreams where you have like a swan or an elephant, or this specific loved one, or a figure in your dreams that has a very peaceful energy, this is definitely this guide. So they might also show up as an owl, or a crane, because with the temperance card here being twice, I think temperance is a big thing for them. But pile one, I am going to leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. I really hope this resonated, and I hope I did this spirit guide justice. I hope you have an idea of who this is and this helped. Definitely let me know down in the comments how it resonates. I would love to hear. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you left a like, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed and hit that little bell button so you can be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Thank you guys so much for letting me read your cards. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 2. If you guys chose this Aquamarine stone, this is going to be your reading and the spirit guide coming through for you in this reading. Now, before I begin, I want to add a huge disclaimer. So because this is a general reading, I'm going to have multiple interpretations for each of these cards and the guide that's coming through. So it's very important that you use discernment and to help you kind of decide what messages are for you. So any way for me to help you with that, my best advice is anything that I say that gives you like chills, or I say it and you're like, yes, that's it, like immediately, not like 2 seconds later. Like if it hits right, it's meant for you. If it doesn't, it's not. That kind of makes sense. Hopefully that's helpful. So I just want that out there, because I am going to have different interpretations. So let's look at your card. So this tarot card is going to represent what the spirit guide wants me to know about them, and also the card that they might show up in tarot readings or anything like that. But yours is very interesting because your spirit guide is being represented by the Two of Cups. So I have multiple interpretations for this reading. The first is like, this is hard for me to even talk about, but like I need to because I'm feeling called to. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is either your twin flame's higher self or your twin flame that is not incarnated on this earth. Doesn't have to be, because I have more interpretations, and I don't want you to roll your eyes and close off the screen, because like I get it. I have a hard time talking about these two. I believe that if they exist, I believe that everyone has them. I just think that if they exist, they might not all incarnate on earth at the same time. But so the first one could be, this is like your twin's higher self, your twin flame in the astral. This could also be a soulmate, or like for some of you, this could be a soulmate that has passed on, that is still looking over you. This is a great, great love. And I actually got this very specific message for a few of you. If you're like asexual or aromantic, it's kind of like this person is so... I don't want to say that this is the reason why you're that way, but I do want to say that even if you are that way, like you still have somebody like this, if that makes sense. Like they just might not be on the earth right now. Maybe your love for them or their love for you is so great that there's just no need for that. And it's totally valid and totally okay to like, to be that way. Like you don't have to have a romantic lover to be valid. But like I said, these are messages that I feel called to give. Comes through me, not from me. Please don't attack me. But essentially what I'm getting is that this is a lover of some kind. And for some of you, if this is a twin situation, I would definitely say like this could be their higher self coming through if they are incarnated, or this is a twin that like is not incarnated with you in this current lifetime, which for a lot of people I feel like could definitely be the case, because there isn't necessarily if your soul mission isn't together, like if the reason for you incarnating, like if it's not necessary with a twin, or maybe you guys have like your own things that you need to learn this lifetime, whatever it may be, I just think that this is a really great lover. And I'm getting heavy twin, like I feel so uncomfortable saying that, so just trust me when I say like I wouldn't say this if I didn't feel like I had to, because I have a hard time talking about twin stuff. It's heavily stigmatized and there's a lot of strong feelings about it. So if you don't believe in that sort of thing, I would say that this is either like a past life lover who is not incarnated with you this time around, a soulmate's higher self, or a soulmate that maybe you knew and passed away, or this could be the higher self of a soulmate you are yet to meet that is still here, something like that. No matter the case, this is like basically your other half, and that's why I say that it's very likely that this is the higher self of someone you're yet to meet, of someone you're in separation with, or this is somebody that, you know, they may not incarnate on the earth at this time, but this guide has a lot of love for you. Especially, I don't want to say especially if you're a twin, like, because that's not right. If you're a twin, this guide is like essentially a part of you. And I would say that, like, if twins are real, we all have one. So this is literally like a version of you that's just not incarnated right now for whatever reason. But this is definitely a guide that's very close to you. And for some of you, this might even not be a romantic interest. This could be a best friend from past lives that isn't incarnated, that's here with you, or a best friend that has passed on. So I know I gave just a bunch of different interpretations, so take the one that resonates closest to you. I want to give as many options as possible because there are tons of different options, and also I know some people don't believe in like the whole twins and stuff like that, and I have a hard time talking about it. So yeah, not that I'm not like hating on it or anything, but I just don't want to make people who don't believe in them uncomfortable, if that makes sense. But so this is either your twin that's not incarnated, your twin's higher self, a soulmate that is incarnated higher self, a soulmate that is incarnated higher self, a soulmate that is not incarnated, or a best friend or a lover from past lives, somebody that's really strong in your soul group. Like this is either a part of your soul or somebody that is very, very close to your soul. And so their higher self might be guiding you while they're on this earth, or they're not currently incarnated. And of course, they just love you more than anything. So it is their goal and their mission to guide you until you move on to the spirit world, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is definitely a guide who loves you very, very much. And the way that this guide shows up is very interesting, because if this is the higher self of somebody who is currently alive on Earth, the way that they come through might be quite interesting, especially because their higher self may not come through the same way their 3D self does. And the signs and synchronicities that you get about them might not make sense sometimes. And you might, like the energy that I'm feeling is that you might feel crazy about getting messages from this certain guide, especially if this is the higher self of somebody that is currently incarnated. And by incarnated, I basically just mean alive. I know this is so wee-woo-y. Like, I look at myself, I'm like, oh my God, you're so wee-woo-y. But that's what's coming through me. So yes, this is a guide that is your other half, somebody that loves you, adores you in what is most likely a very romantic way. They definitely want the best for you, especially if they are not alive in like the physical, if they're not in the physical world. It's their goal to make your life as good as possible. So they're definitely going to be a guide that leads you to the right people. So for example, they might not be your lover in this incarnation, but they might lead you to the love that you're supposed to have, if that makes sense. They might lead you to the right people, to the right places, to the right experiences that are going to get you as far as possible. And in a lot of ways, I think this is really beautiful, because it's like this person doesn't have to be with you in the 3D, in the physical, to want the best for you and to guide you. And even if they are in the physical, their higher self loves you so much that they're still around you and in your energy trying to help you. And I'd be willing to bet that if this is an incarnated like twin sort of thing, soulmate sort of thing, that your higher self is one of their guides as well. So you be out here guiding them too, like without even realizing it. So that's what's really cool here. So you're kind of a guide as well, if that makes sense. But I would say that's specifically for those like who who this is and they are alive. But who knows, maybe in a past life, your twin was incarnated and you were chilling in the astral guiding them. So I feel like this is definitely past life love that spanned many lifetimes. This is somebody that's so close to your soul. It either is yours or a piece of yours, or the closest it can be to yours. So like if you have not met this person yet, like for example, you might have not met this person yet, but their higher self might be guiding you right now in order for you to meet this person. Or maybe you're in separation with this person, so their higher self is guiding you to take the steps to hopefully reunite. Now, what actually happens in the 3D, that's debatable, but this is basically a guide that is looking out for your best interests. They want the best for you, which typically all guides will, but I think that there's a lot of kind of romantic stakes in this. Like, that's my baby. Like, that's who's gonna, like, they want the absolute best for you, and they're not gonna just let anything, any old schmuck is what I'm hearing, hurt you. And so I feel like this guide might be especially active when it comes to communicating and things like that. So I really wanted to see what animals this guide might show up as. And I don't want to be too confusing. I feel like I need to explain more about like higher selves and stuff, because this could totally be the higher self of someone who is currently alive. And so you might be like, well, wait, like they're alive. There's no way they're guiding me. So like the higher self is kind of detached from that, and it's more of like your 5D self. So the 5D self and the 3D self might be a little bit different. I know this is confusing. I know I sound like a wackadoodle, but it makes sense in the spirit world. It makes more sense there, I promise. But these two cards are going to show qualities either that this person has, that their higher self has, that their higher self maybe covets, or that this spirit guide covets. I'm just going to call them a spirit guide and not a higher self for the rest of it. So you'll know if it's the higher self of somebody, so just take that as it resonates. But I'm going to see what animals they may show up as, any other signs, and then like qualities that they themselves embody or that they admire. So the first one is the resourceful rabbit. Cunning, friendliness, optimism, clever creature of the woods, teach me to leap easily over difficulty. And the prosperous pig. Regeneration, good luck, abundance. Sacred symbol of fortune and fertility. Bless me with the opportunity for prosperity. Yeah, so this definitely makes sense in this case, because I think that this spirit guide like is always trying to make sure like you have the best outcomes possible, and sometimes things seemingly impossible will happen to you and you won't understand why. One big sign that I'm seeing right away is strawberries. So this guide might show themselves through strawberries, or strawberries could be significant, especially if this is a connection, as well as rabbits, pigs, or like flying pigs, like those wings. Like there's like a lion with wings, so something like that could be significant. The medical field could be important in some way. I know people said once what that like weaving snake thing was, but as you know, I'm not great with terms, so I'm sure you all will educate me in the comments. But strawberries, red flowers, and mushrooms could be signs of this guide as well. But so in terms of like this guide's energy, they definitely are trying to give you the best possible. I feel like for those of you who this might be a lover that passed away, I feel like they have a way of saying that they're always around you, especially with that regeneration, like they haven't gone anywhere. But yeah, this guide is definitely very intelligent. And I feel like they probably have very intelligent ways of communicating with you. I mean, think about how intelligent it has to be, especially if this person is like chilling in the 3D, that their higher self is like not only looking after them, but they're over here communicating with you. So they definitely have interesting ways of communicating with you. This person might have impulsive tendencies, or this guide. I can't believe I'm saying person. I mean to say guide, but I know for some of you this is like a twin that is incarnated, that you could be with, that you could be in separation with, that you haven't met yet, whatever it may be, that is kind of making themselves known. Alice in Wonderland could be significant. I'm thinking of the hair, like when he's, you know, running, he's like, oh, I'm late. Oh my God, be careful, by the way, if you don't want to have any children. I just take precautions, because that like it made me think of something else, and I was like, ooh. But yeah, I feel like this is a guide that's always pulling the strings behind the scenes, whether you realize it or not. They want the best for you. I think there's a lot of good karma surrounding this connection, or that will be surrounding this connection. I feel like there's a lot about transformations here as well. This guide is helping you transform into your best self, especially if you haven't met this person yet, or if you're in separation with a person, like a romantic interest. I feel like their higher self is guiding you to be the person you need to be in order for you both to have this love in the 3D. If not, I feel like this guide, if this guide is not in the 3D, or like the 3D version of themselves is not on Earth vibing, and they're just solely in the 5D helping you, then I would say that they are qualities of your best self. Like I feel like this guide shows itself when you wake up some days and you just feel really good and you don't know why, and you just start the day with like a pep in your step, and like the sun seems a little bit brighter, and like the air smells a little bit better. This guide in particular may give you pep talks in your sleep or in your dreams. They might like always be wishing you the best. But I feel like, yeah, this guide is always, essentially this guide is always working to make sure you have the best in life, so that either you both can have the best in life together, or they can ensure that you have the best life even though they may not be here on earth to see everything with you. So this is like actually really beautiful, and I know it's such a it's such an out there concept, and that like even I have a hard time being like, this is what I feel it is, but I would not lie to you guys, and I'm not in that game. So one thing that I'm noticing is like, teach me to leap easily over difficulty. Like, yeah, like this is someone like, that's my baby. Like I don't want to see them hurt. I don't want to see them sad. Like this guide is gonna like do whatever they can to make the circumstances better in any way that they can. So like, even if you're having a hard day, like if the day ends with some stroke of luck, like maybe you're on the subway and the car that you're getting into is really empty, and like you kind of have a few moments of peace, or your favorite restaurant, there's like a discount or something, or like you can get free delivery for it. Like they might find little ways to just make your day a little bit better that you may not even realize was them. It's kind of like they're always pulling strings in the background to make your day or make your life just a little bit easier. So I want to see what they're currently helping you with, and like the biggest theme around this. So for you, we have truth. And what I love is that there is this giant heart around the truth. So this person, like I said, is very close to your soul. So they know your soul's truth. And even if you don't, they are doing everything in their power to get you closer to it. Especially, I don't even want to say especially, because no matter what this guide is doing and where this guide is and what version of this guide is for you, they know it's in your heart, and they want to do whatever they can to make your soul's truth more valid in the physical world. And so for some of you, your soul's truth is this person. So it might be like the 3D version of them. So they might be helping you get closer to your truth, so that you both can unite, or you can understand your purpose together more. If this person is not incarnated on earth, and they're just a straight up spirit guide, I think that they are trying to help you see the truth of who you are, so that you can live your life most authentically and have the life that you truly want to live, not the life that you feel like you have to live, or a life that you're settling for. There's a big thing is that they don't want you to settle. They don't want you to settle for less ever, because they view you as like just the best human ever, the best soul ever, and clearly there's a reason why they love you so much. So for them, they're all about helping you see the truth. And the one thing that I'm hearing specifically is that this is the truth of people as well. So if you might find that people out of the blue ghost you, or stop talking to you, or do something really shitty or really messed up, or you hear something really bad about somebody, I feel like this is your guide's way of showing you the truth of who somebody might be, especially if you're wearing like rose-colored glasses, for example. Because I could totally see this guide being very overprotective when it comes to who you are involved with romantically. And I feel like they're not going to want you to get involved with anyone who's not in your highest good. Now that might not stop you from being involved with them anyway. You know, they can't stop you from making your own decisions, but they very well may try to, and give you as many signs as possible, because I feel like for them, they don't have power over your decisions, and they don't want to have power over your decisions. But I do feel like they want you to know that they're around, and that they are trying to help you get closer to your truth, because your truth and their truth are very closely intertwined. And I personally, I believe in the concept of reincarnation, regeneration, and I like to think of things as like a spectrum. So like maybe your soul's truth, maybe in a next life for the both of you, you have some big mission. So maybe you know, in this life, your soulmate, your twin, whoever this may be, isn't incarnating because they're here to help you learn these lessons that your soul needs to have in its bag, so that when you both incarnate, you've already learned those lessons. They're kind of ingrained within you, and you can, you know, move forward in your journey to, you know, making the world a better place. I think that's kind of one big thing about your truth and this person's truth, is that you both are very strong alone, but you're even stronger together. And you're meant to bring more light into the world. And so this guide is either using you as a way to shine both of your lights in the world, because you are an extension of them, or this guide is helping you get closer to the 3D version of them, so that you both can illuminate the world and light up the world. And one thing I do want to say is that even if this is like a twin that's incarnated, that doesn't mean that like I just want to be very careful with that. You know, you have free will, you have your own decisions, and like if you want nothing to do like with this person in reality or anything like that, you never have to give them another glance, look in their direction. But if you feel like their presence is around you all the time, it's because they are. And which I mean, hopefully is comforting, not irritating. But I could understand if it's the other way around. But I do just want to say that like, you have a zero obligation, if you know who this person, if this is like a person and it's their higher self that's always communicating through you, you have by no means, you have no obligation to like give them the time of day or seek them out. You know, it's your life to live, and you have free will at the end of the day. But these are the messages that I am getting, and by all means, if you don't want to hear a message about them, there's 4 other piles to choose from. But yeah, this person is all about helping you. I can't believe I keep saying person. This guide, I'm so sorry. This guide is here to help you get closer to the truth of who you are, and the truth of what you're about and what your journey is. Because if they're not here incarnated, their purpose is to help you understand your purpose, because it's kind of a mission for them as well. So they're going to follow you throughout your entire life. I don't not in like a creepy way, but just like constantly encouraging you, constantly supporting you to be your best. Because like, even if this is a twin and they are incarnated, you know, maybe your best lessons are learned apart, or like maybe you decide you don't want that. That's totally fine, but they're still going to be here encouraging you to do your best, because their higher self is always going to want the best for you, even if their 3D self is not. Oh man, this one feels so wee-woo-y. I hope I don't get flamed. Okay. Twin flamed. Okay. Fuck, I need to shut up. Okay. So, 2 big messages that they want you to know. First, we have align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? And we have activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. So, this guide, this all falls back into truth. And essentially, this guide is there to kind of nudge you along in the right direction. So if you ever have feelings like you need to visit a certain place, feelings like you need to go to a certain place at a certain time, or I don't know why, but I just always wanted to visit here. I don't know why, but I always want to go here, do this thing. There's typically a reason for it. This guide is nudging you to a certain place to either learn about it, to maybe meet them in real life, to maybe meet someone that could be very good for you. So like, for example, if they're staying in the 5D, you know, they might be nudging you towards a person who could be really good for you, or a place that could be really good for you, or an opportunity or experience. But also, they're going to be the ones that help you get rid of things that are not aligned with you. And they're going to know what's in alignment for you. And especially if you are a twin in separation, and this is like something that you are really struggling with, or you feel like you struggle with this a lot, I feel just really called to say that, you know, their higher self is constantly guiding you through, like, you know, getting rid of the things that are not in alignment with you, so that you can be more balanced within yourself, and guiding you towards the people and the experiences that will be of your highest good, so that you can live your truth. I'm feeling really called to talk about the red thread of fate. I think this is in Chinese folklore or mythology or something like that. But there's a story about or concept of two people being tied together with red thread. And the thread can stretch, it can get tangled, it can get messy, but it can never be broken. And I think that's the best example of what you and this spirit guide are. You're kind of tied together with a red thread. And I would say it's very likely that if they are incarnated, you and this person are tied together. But I would say, like, when you both are incarnated at the same time, there's always that red thread there. Like, you will always be connected that way. Like, that connection, like, can't be broken. And I'm sure someone that actually has, like, Chinese heritage or is Chinese, something like that, if you know this story better and you want to comment about it, I would love for you to, because it is a really beautiful like belief, metaphor, story, whatever you want to call it. And I think it holds a lot of legitimate, like it holds, clearly, like, my guides are wanting me to talk about it for a reason. But you never know, like, maybe you're called to go somewhere and you meet this person, or maybe you're called to go somewhere and you happen to run into this person. There's like so many different things this could be. But at the end of the day, this is just a guide that loves you more than anything, like loves you in such a pure, unconditional way. And that being said, that doesn't mean the 3D version. We're talking about the 5D version. And they're going to help you get closer to your truth no matter what, like even if their 3D self isn't complying, if that makes sense. But we are going to look at a message from your guide to you and what they want you to know. So we have the Knight of Swords, the Six of Swords. I'm hearing like the sun will come out tomorrow, the Annie song. We also have Strength and Death. So this is like pretty powerful energy. And one thing that I want to say right away is that this guide is very chatty. They're always going to be communicating with you, and I feel like they have been communicating with you. If this is a twin that you are currently in separation with, or that you or like, you might be meeting this person in the 3D soon. You might be communicating with this person in the 3D soon. You don't technically have to be in separation with them, but you could be hearing from them sometime soon, is something that I'm saying. But if this is just a purely like 5D guide, then I would say that this person is, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep saying that. I don't know why I keep saying that. And this guide is communicating with you a lot, and they have a lot that they want to say to you. And one thing that I'm kind of getting, like, I feel really drained in this reading for some reason. Like, my energy just feels very drained. So I feel like this guide spends a lot of energy trying to get their messages across to you. One thing that I'm hearing, though, is that there are better days to come, and that if you've been thinking about moving in any way, it's kind of like a green light. The Six of Swords is a lot about movement, and the fact that we have ley lines and like power places. If there's anywhere that you've wanted to travel and visit, or you've been thinking about moving, I feel like this is your green light to do that if you feel called to. With Strength here, I feel like your guide just wants you to know how strong you are, and how powerful your connection is. So it doesn't really matter if you are with this person now, if you're with this person in the future, or this is a spirit guide that loves you, that's not incarnated on Earth right now. They're saying that whether they're in the 3D or not, this connection can last like time, can last anything. Like, it's very strong and it will not be broken. I feel like, with this infinity sign here, like this connection is something very special, and it's something that your soul knows more than anything, and it's always going to be there. They're very proud of you, and white roses could be significant as well. Maybe rainbows, which, oh yeah, we have roses here too. So roses of some kind could definitely be significant. And with Death, I feel like there are changes ahead that you need to make. Either that you need to make or that are going to happen naturally. I don't want to scare you, like they're not scary. So don't be scared about that. If this is somebody that you knew that passed away, I feel like they're saying, their guide, their soul, like they're here to guide you for the rest of your life, and like they don't worry, like even if they're not here in the physical, that like that doesn't mean that they don't love you any less. Like they're still here, they're still with you. Like the strength of this connection can outlast the physical. Like it's a very, very strong connection. And I feel like they want you to know that you are overcoming a lot of difficulties in the next few months that are going to one, get you closer to your truth, but they just want to say like how strong you have been for all the things that you've been going through and all the things that you have been undertaking. Any transformations you're going through right now are very necessary to either this connection happening in the 3D or improving in the 3D, or they're very necessary to you to get closer to your truth. No matter what, these changes that you're going through are very necessary for you to get closer to your truth. But overall, I feel like you could be hearing from the 3D version of this person at some point, or if this is just their higher self, just the 3D, you could be getting a lot of communication from them. Pay attention to any strangers that give you random messages. Pay attention to songs is a big thing that I'm hearing. Anytime that you get these like random chills, or you see something or you hear something and you're like, that seems really significant, or I feel like that has a deeper meaning, you might need to Google it. But whatever it is, note it, because I feel like this guide is always going to be sending you rapid fire synchronicities, messages, signs, because they're like always with you, and they're always trying to get you closer to the truth of who you are, to the truth of this connection, whatever it may be, and the truth of like what your purpose is and what you're meant to do. So let's get you to finish off. I'm going to get you some encouraging messages from this guide. I feel like this reading, it was just so all over the place. But I do feel called to say that if this is a twin and like you're in separation with them or something like that, just know that the strength of this connection is really strong, and that there will be changes here. Now, I don't want to say that like those changes mean union or like being with this person, but I will say whatever these changes are, they're very necessary to you being a happier version of yourself and being a more authentic version of yourself. I never want to say anything like, I'm never going to make any promises about anything ever, but I will say the things that I feel confidently. Let's just see. So what does the spirit guide want pile 2 to know? What messages do they have for pile 2? What messages do they have? Okay, so we have I am the dreamer of my dream. So this actually came out in the first pile. So if you were drawn to the first pile, there might be a separate spirit guide trying to talk to you. We also have my fearless freedom lights up the world. And on the back of the deck, I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. I think this is beautiful because I feel like this is like, this guy like loves you in the most like romantic and authentic way possible. They absolutely adore you, and they don't want you to be fearful and afraid, because not only are you strong enough to get through anything that's coming your way, but there's a lot of like luck and abundance that you're just naturally blessed with, and that will come to you as you start trusting in your purpose and in your inner truth. So I feel like this guide is telling you not to forget your light, and to trust that whenever you're being guided through things that you don't quite understand, that there might be a reason for it. And when things or people fall away, trust that you know, rejection is divine protection. Obstacles are just detours in the right direction, that sort of thing. They don't want you to forget your light or forget how strong you are. But I just keep hearing the sun will come out tomorrow. So I feel like this guide is really, really trying to hit home that things are going to be getting better for you soon. And like I said, if you've been feeling called to any specific places, whether local or across the world, I think that you might want to consider going there at some point or doing more research about those places, because it might lead you closer to your truth. So pile 2, I think I'm going to leave your reading here. I know this one was difficult. and there was a lot of different messages. So I hope this resonated. I would definitely love to hear how it does. Feel free to let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this all the way through. I know, especially if you're a less wee-woo-y person, this might be a lot for you. So I totally get that. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you left a like. And if you haven't already and you would like to, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit that little notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new reading. Thank you guys so much for letting me read your cards and channel your guides. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, pile 3. If you guys chose the blue lace agate stone, this is going to be your reading. Now, in every single pile, I've had a disclaimer that I'm going to be channeling a lot of different guides, so there are different interpretations, and take them as they resonate. Examples of what I used as things to know if messages are meant for you or not. If you get chills, or I say something and it like immediately is just like, oh yep, that's for me, stuff like that, you'll know messages that are meant for you. But interestingly enough, your spirit guide, there is no room for multiple interpretations, because you have one spirit guide coming through that is actually an archangel. Archangel Gabriel has thoughts for you today and has messages for you. So the spirit guide coming through for you is actually an archangel. So Archangel Gabriel could be heavily involved with your life at this current time. You could have a special connection to Archangel Gabriel, something like that. Clearly, Archangel Gabriel is, no matter what, playing a big role in your life at this current moment. So, you know, he's wanting to come through. He has thoughts. So unlike the other readings, I'm just going to say Archangel Gabriel because I know that it's him. I don't know what Archangel Gabriel's pronouns are, so I think I'll just use they, them. But I might accidentally say he, so, or I might, I don't know. I'm just going to say Archangel Gabriel, okay? So clearly he's been trying to get your attention, or I'm just gonna use he, and for some reason I feel like sometimes he might use she, I don't know, but I'm just gonna use he because that's what I keep falling back to, and I don't want to like keep being annoying throughout the whole thing too. Anyway, I don't know why Switzerland just came through, but if you like live in Switzerland, or Switzerland is like special to you, that's being called out. So yeah, Archangel Gabriel, he's got some thoughts for you. And clearly he has some type of special connection to you for him to come out this way. I do believe, I know in one, I would highly encourage you, by the way, to Google Archangel Gabriel, understand him more. But, you know, he can kind of come through in any form that will resonate with you. Like, for example, you know, maybe Archangel Gabriel is associated with one specific color or one specific stone, but if you recognize Archangel Gabriel through a different color, through a different stone, Archangel Gabriel will have no problem communicating to you this way, because he will essentially know that you're going to get the message if he communicates to you through that way, if that makes sense. But he's playing a big role in your life, and so clearly he wanted to come out and give you his thoughts. And I think that there is something big coming, something either coming or that has happened recently. And Archangel Gabriel wants you to know not only that he's here and that he has your support, but that he's guiding you through all of this. And he's kind of an integral part in this in some way, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So from this point forward, one thing that he wants you to know is that he does show up in the Judgment card. So if you ever want to communicate with Archangel Gabriel, and you just want confirmation that he's there, if the Judgment card shows up, that's kind of his way of saying, hey, I hear you. This could have something to do with like the arts or communication. I know blue lace agate, I believe, is like a communication stone, throat chakra stone. In one deck that I have, he is shown through the 5th chakra, the throat chakra. So I do think that not only has he been trying to communicate with you, but I do think as well that he has been trying to help you with your communication skills, how you express yourself, and help you with understanding the messages of the universe more. It does kind of seem like whatever connection you have to him, like he's trying to make whatever this transition is, or whatever is coming, a lot easier. And it kind of seems like he wants to be an intermediary between you and the universe, so that like he can guide you, communicate with you, help you know what's going on, because it does seem like there's some big change coming, or that has happened in the recent past, that he's acknowledging, that he wants to help you with and let you know that he's here and he's guiding you through all of this. So we're going to go ahead and just get into more about him, what he wants you to know. So I asked for 2 animal cards to see what qualities this guide covets. Now, in this case, because it is an archangel and there's tons of different resources, there might be specific signs unique to you, but I kind of just wanted to see what animals Archangel Gabriel wanted to show you that he might come through as for you, and also the qualities that he's wanting you to embody, or that he like values or wants you to embody. I think I just said that. Archangel of communication, and ASO can't communicate. Love it. So we're just going to see first, we have the modest mouse, stealth, contentment, humbleness, tiny keeper of an inner strength, help me to unlock my hidden potential, and humble honeybee, work ethic, community, drive. Golden gem, adorning flowers, give me the strength to realize my dreams. So I feel like Archangel Gabriel sees you as somebody very modest and very humble, but maybe to the point where you are too much. You seem like, from the energy that I'm getting, you're probably a very caring person. You're probably somebody who doesn't see their own worth all the time, doesn't see their own strength. But what Archangel Gabriel is showing to me is that he will come through in the form of a mouse, a bee, clovers, strawberries, and mushrooms. I said that for another pile, so don't be like too freaked out, because here's the thing, if the spirit world has an opportunity to give your brain a connection of some kind to them, they will give it. So connections don't have to be like symbols, signs and symbols don't have to be standardized for people. I'm feeling called to talk about Carl Jung, a famous psychologist. One of his last works that he published is called Man and His Symbols, and it's all about how symbolism is important to understanding the psyche, and like dreams, for example, dream symbolism, but symbols mean different things to different people, so it's kind of hard to standardize them. So as long as it has meaning to you, and as long as it gets the message across, then it's valid. So whatever signs work for you, whatever signs hit home to you, that is the one those are the ones that Archangel Gabriel is going to use. And I think that Archangel Gabriel is really trying to show you your potential for following your dreams. You might not believe that you are capable of doing this or capable of achieving them, and Archangel Gabriel is really wanting to tell you otherwise. Like, it's such a big deal, and he wants you to follow this so badly that he's coming through in a spirit guide reading. Like, we got like big boy archangel energy coming through, and coming through in such a humble way as well. So I feel like, this archangel is saying that you have everything you need to co-create with them and create this life that you want. And I feel like they're saying that you have nothing to fear, because you have a good community around you. You have the work ethic and the drive that you need to achieve these things. You're clearly humble and already somewhat content, at least, or should be content with where your life is at. But I feel like you just don't dream more for yourself, because you might not believe that you have the capabilities of achieving these things, or you might not believe that you're worthy of these dreams, whether it's a person, whether it's creative endeavor. I feel like for a lot of you, this could be a creative endeavor, like writing, being an artist, singing, communications of some sort. They really want you to follow your dreams. They being Archangel Gabriel. And so I think that he's coming through because he just really wants you to realize these dreams and recognize that he's here supporting you. So let's keep going and see what else he wants to say to you. So we have support. And this is the main idea for why he's coming through, what he's helping you with. And it's that he's here to support you in your dreams and that he's here to help you. You know, what's interesting is that we have this snake here. And I'm kind of like picturing how a snake sheds its skin. And I think that you're going through a time of shedding parts of yourself that are no longer aligned with you. And I feel like there's a lot of emotional understandings that you've been gaining through your different experiences. And I think some of them have been really difficult with like the rain cloud and the rain here. Clouds can be significant as well. Maybe specifically like really dark clouds where it looks like it's going to rain or it's going to storm. But what I'm kind of being shown here is that a lot of recent events in your past are giving you understandings of what your next move is and understandings of like your emotional body and who it is that you're meant to be and things about yourself. And you might have felt like the universe was kind of kicking you while you were down or not, or was doing things because you had bad karma or like you deserved it. And I feel like what Archangel Gabriel is kind of trying to communicate to me is that these experiences, while they were really difficult, they weren't meant to kick you while you were down or hurt you. They were actually meant to help your soul learn things that it needs in order to move forward with whatever these dreams might be. I feel like community is going to be big for you. You might be somebody that doesn't like to ask for help a lot, and I think that is something that Archangel Gabriel wants to help you with. You need to be more willing to ask for support and receive support. And I think that it's such a big deal that you need to ask for support, that Archangel Gabriel wants to help you more, but like he can't help you unless you ask. So he's like saying, hey, yo, I'm here. I really want to help you, but you need to acknowledge my existence. So here, led you to this reading so that you can do that and we can get the ball rolling and get you where you need to go. So let's see 2 big things that he wants you to know. The first one, transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Yes. So it is time to stop thinking about these pipe dreams of yours as in the far off future, because the future is now and there are portals opening. You're getting ready to get there. You are transforming at a rapid rate. And what I think is really interesting and I'm feeling called to talk about is how we can transform physically. So like maybe you've recently undergone a big transformation. Like maybe you have, physically changed. Maybe you have healed a lot of past trauma and now you're feeling better, but you still might be going through these tough experiences. Whatever it may be, you're being transformed in the version of yourself that you need to be in order to follow these dreams. And so Archangel Gabriel is essentially saying, like, we've been communicating these ideas to you for a while now, and they're sitting in your head, but you're not taking the time to start grounding them. And I think that's because you might not believe you're ready. You might not believe that it's time for you to do these things, but no, Archangel Gabriel is saying, it is time. It's time to start making baby steps. You don't have to have this perfect, grand idea of where you're going or what you're doing, but it's time to start heading in the general direction. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. And I think this is really important for you to understand, because you're not going to see the full picture until you're probably halfway there or 75% of the way there. Like, if that makes sense, you kind of have to just start following it before you understand why it is you're doing what you're doing, because there are major awakenings to come from this. And I think that you are being a bit too modest, and I feel like you're kind of minimizing yourself in ways that you shouldn't. You have a lot more power than you realize, and you are so much more than you once were. And circling back to what I was going to say, and then I went on a tangent, thanks ADD. You might be different physically, or you might be different on the outside, or circumstances in your external world might be different, but you still have the same brain as before and the same perception as before. And so that's what Archangel Gabriel is kind of trying to get you out of, because you need a new perception for this new life. You are not the same person that you once were. And so it is time to have an understanding of yourself that is more than that is different, that is changed, that is transformed to the version of yourself that you are now. It's not conducive to your growth to have this very minimizing perspective of yourself that doesn't see your full potential. Like, I feel like Archangel Gabriel is asking you to be a bit more egotistical, be a bit more full of yourself, see yourself as a bit better, while being modest and being humble are wonderful. And like, let's be clear, he still wants you to embody those things, especially within the community. But you don't need to be that way towards yourself and in your internal dialogue. Like, your internal dialogue, like, needs to tell you that you're the shit and that you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. It's much more like, you need to be kind of like a pompous asshole in your brain where you're like, I am the best person, like, fake it until you make it type energy. Like, because Archangel Gabriel believes in you so much so that like, he's coming through to say, hey, pile 3, like, it's time. I'm supporting you. I'm here, as well as your spiritual team. You have a whole ass archangel like coming through for you, being like, listen, listen, like, I'm here to support you, but I cannot, like, dreams don't work unless you do. Like, that's kind of the energy I'm getting. Dreams don't work unless you do. And this archangel is really trying to get you to understand that. So we are going to see specifically what Archangel Gabriel wants to say to you through these tarot cards. So to start, we have the 3 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Lovers, and the 8 of Pentacles. So I love this because this is like I was saying, dreams can't work unless you do. And that's kind of the energy I'm getting with this Lovers and this 8 of Pentacles. So with this Lovers card, I'm really getting the energy of choices. Everything is a choice. Inaction is still an action. And I think that this card, to me, and in this spread, in this circumstance, really, to me, is all about co-creating with the universe. If you do your part, the universe will do their part. And you can, in turn, create this beautiful flowing machine of self that's creating the life that you want. And also, you're going to feel the love of the universe. You're going to feel more in tune with the universe. With the 3 of Wands here, it's time for you to expand your horizons. And the 3 of Wands is also about communication. So maybe reaching out to people that could help you with this goal, reaching out for advice, reaching out for help. What I'm really being shown is that all these dreams of yours are staying in the dream world. They're staying in your head because you either don't believe in yourself, you don't see yourself as capable of doing this, you feel like you're not ready, whatever it is. Archangel Gabriel is saying, not only are you ready, but like, we're here to help you. Like, we want to help you. Like, we're waiting for you to get the ball rolling so that we can help you, so that we can bring these blessings into your life, because we can't work unless you do. And so that's what this is all about. And kind of like as a spider weaves its web, it's slowly and meticulously, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Your web won't be built in a day either. And so I feel like what Archangel Gabriel is saying is that you don't have to have really tough expectations or huge expectations of what you have to achieve. With this Page of Wands, Archangel Gabriel is saying, follow what makes you passionate and just start doing it more. And then follow what you feel like you're called to do with that, and then build on that. It just starts, the hardest part is getting started. And Archangel Gabriel just wants you to get started so that you can get going on this mission of yours, on this purpose of yours. He doesn't want you to stay in this dreamy state where you're not actualizing your dreams. You wouldn't be given these dreams if you weren't meant to make them a reality. It's time to expand your horizon beyond the plain and the ordinary. There's a lot more for you, and it doesn't matter how old you are or what you've been through. You still have time to achieve this, and like, you're exactly where you are, where you need to be. but it's time to start seeing yourself as more. You are not the same person that you once were. And it's time to follow those passions. You're being called to do that for a reason. And Archangel Gabriel is like coming down here to Lil Ol Aso's tarot readings to just be like, hey, you know, pile 3, it's time. Let's go. I've been trying to communicate with you. Y'all won't listen. You know, it's time to unlock your hidden potential and realize your dreams, because not only are you capable of achieving them, you have the work ethic, you have the drive, you have the support behind you, everything you need to achieve these things. The only thing you don't have is the belief in yourself that you can and the ability to see through your fears as just fears. And, you know, my dad always tells me fear is false evidence appearing real. And while fears are very valid, you have to remember, you have to be willing to look at fears as, is this a fear that will put my life in harm or danger? Probably a valid fear. Is this a fear that's holding me back from actualizing my full potential? Probably a fear you're gonna want to get rid of. So that can help you figure that out. But even the Lovers is represented by Gemini energy, so maybe Geminis are getting a bigger call out, or Gemini placements. You certainly don't have to be, but I do think that this is also, you know, Gemini is the 3rd house, communication. This is all about communicating. Like, I feel like Archangel Gabriel really wants to communicate with you a lot more. He might be communicating with you through your dreams. He might also be using snakes, geese, spiders. We had snakes again, honeybees or mice as a way to communicate. But I feel like I'm hearing like now's the time. Like, portals are opening. It's time to start making plans and get going, because I feel like this awakening or this big transformation that's going to happen, it's not going to come unless you get the ball rolling, because like I said, dreams can't work unless you do. But so hopefully this is a bit of a wake-up call on that end, but let's be real, an archangel believes in you. An archangel is here communicating with you because he believes in you so much and he wants you to succeed. So trust that you were led to this reading for a reason, and it's time to start believing that you can achieve these dreams. Oh, also another quick message I got, there could be a Gemini that is meant to help you with this success. Same with that Lover's energy. There might be a smaller message for some of you. You might meet like the partner that you're meant to meet through this endeavor. You might meet something else, or might meet like a best friend or something through this endeavor. So go after it. Okay, we're gonna get you some messages from the universe, or no, not the universe, from Archangel Gabriel to finish you off here. So Archangel Gabriel, what do you want to say to pile 3? What is important that pile 3 knows? Okay, so the first message he has for you is, I choose love no matter what. And so I think this is really important, because when you make decisions, like, are you doing it because you love yourself? Are you doing it because you love yourself to give yourself the opportunity? Or are you doing it because you are denying yourself and you don't want to, like for example, if you're going after a goal and then you decide not to do it because you're afraid, that's not out of love. You know, well, like, obviously nobody's gonna say, hey, like, pile 3, like, go drive your car off a cliff because you love yourself. Like, no, that's dangerous. That doesn't make any sense. But like, if you have an audition or a program you want to apply to or something like that, and you're not doing it because you're afraid of being rejected, that is where you say, no, I love myself to know that I'm equally as valid whether I get this opportunity or I don't, and I'm going to be better for trying anyway, because I still get that experience. And, you know, rejection is divine protection. So if you were rejected, it's probably because it wasn't meant for you in some way, and there's probably something better coming along. But also, stuff like that gives you grit. It gives you it. And it'll help you realize that even if the best possible outcome doesn't happen, you'll still be okay, and you're still supported, and you're still loved. We also have, yeah, exactly what I was saying. I recognize that I have chosen fear. I choose again, and I choose love. And on the back of the deck, the key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. So Archangel Gabriel, you have definitely popped off in this reading, and you have given us some thoughts. I also just cut the deck and I saw I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow, and happiness is my birthright. And so I think that you really need to trust those. And the more you just pray to be supported and guided in your path, the closer you will get. And I feel like this card especially is meant for you. You know, if fear is the only thing holding you back between you and your dreams, should choose love. There's a big message about choosing love. But pile 3, I'm going to leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much for watching it all the way through. If you did, definitely let me know down in the comments how this resonates. I would love to hear, especially, are you already aware that Archangel Gabriel has been communicating with you, or is this something new? I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to read your cards and channel for you. Definitely leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you would like to, and click that little notification bell if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new reading. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. Thank you again for letting me read your cards, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 4. If you guys chose the Rhodonite crystal, this is going to be your reading. Now, I've had this disclaimer in every single pile so far, because this is a general reading and I'm channeling a lot of different guides. I'm going to have different variations for what this guide who this guide might be, like what their relation to you is and what that might mean for you. So when it comes to discerning what messages are for you, my best tips are if you get chills, that's a good sign, as well as if I say anything and you're just like immediately like, oh yeah, that's for me, or like you just know right off the bat that's for you, then I would say that that's a good sign that those are messages that your guide is trying to communicate with you. So let's look at your card and see what card your guide chose to be showcased through. And so the guide coming through is being represented in the 7 of Pentacles. So one thing that I'm getting about this guide is that this particular spirit guide is not a spirit guide that is here for your whole journey. This is a spirit guide that has come for a particular reason, likely with something to do with career. Now, the length of time in which this spirit guide is with you is going to be different for everybody, but I feel like this guide is with you when it comes to career or school. It could be either, or just some type of project or endeavor that's really important to you that you have already been working on is kind of what I'm seeing. This is like an important project. And even for some of you, like for example, maybe you are like a stay-at-home parent, this could be a particular guide that watches over you in that case. So, you know, for as long as you may be a stay-at-home parent, they might be watching you through this. So it's either like a career thing. This is definitely a guide that comes at times when you need them. They're not hanging around all the time. So, but for some of you, what's interesting is that this guide could also be a guide that was with you during your childhood, where maybe they have come back for another reason. Like I was hearing something about like imaginary friends. So like if you had a specific imaginary friend, this guide might have shown themselves through that way. So if you've been thinking about this imaginary friend or something like that, I feel like this guide is coming back to say like they're coming back into your life for a particular reason. Maybe this imaginary friend was around during a particular stage in childhood, and now as a teenager or adult or whatever age you may be, they're coming back to make their presence known because they're here to help you again. Or of course you don't have to be, but there is a sense of nostalgia with this card. Like this guide might be a guide that comes like in and out. Like they might come to help you with things and then they go and help others. But for whatever, this doesn't necessarily have to be a guide that was with you in childhood, but they do seem to be a guide that is here to help you with your goals on the 3D, like your specific goals, and especially if they're related to career. And it's possible for some of you, maybe like this guide helped you out when you were young, helped you understand your purpose or something like that, and now they're back to help you with that. But it kind of seems like you're in a place where you've planted seeds of some kind to achieve something. And this guide is helping you with that and is kind of aiding you through this transition, waiting for these seeds of abundance to be blooming and harvested and whatever. But also I feel like for some of you, you know, maybe this guide was just a childhood guide that wants to make their presence known because they really enjoyed their time with you. They really loved being your guide at that time, and so they just want to make their presence known. So there could be a few different variations of that. But I do feel like for whatever reason, even if this is just a temporary guide for right now to help you through your career or something like that, they're saying, hey, I'm here to help you specifically with this. So that's a good thing, because clearly this is something significant in your life that they want to make sure goes smoothly. But for others of you, there could be a deeper childhood connection, and maybe your guide is like reminiscing on that and they're maybe missing you. Or your guide has the opportunity to guide you again, and so they're saying, hey, like this isn't our first time, like, you know, I'm back to help. And I think that they're very excited to help you with this endeavor. So what I have next are 2 animal cards. So I asked for this guide to show me what animals they might show themselves through. And one thing that I'm getting like right away is that even if this guide isn't directly by your side throughout your whole life, they might give you little signs of encouragement, like when you're feeling low or something like that, just to remind you that like they're still like what I'm saying is that this guide, even though they might come and go, like you probably have bigger, more significant guides that are with you all the time. I'm sure you do. But this guide just wants to make themselves known because clearly there's something significant in your life going on right now that they want you to know is going well, and that they want you to be patient. They're helping you with it. Or they were a childhood guide that they like just want you to know that this was them, and like that they, you know, are always thinking of you, or they're always trying to show you that how special you are to them, and like how much they've enjoyed being your guide, and they might even be back for some of you. So hopefully you'll know, but if not, you might learn through this. So we're gonna see what animals they might show up as, and what qualities they embody, and what qualities they might hold near and dear, or truly like, or like qualities that they want you to have. It could go a few different ways. So the animals showing up are the benevolent bull, generosity, prosperity, kindness, crescent horns reflecting the moon, your kind giving nature I would know, and the sensitive sloth, tranquility, tolerance, and diplomacy. Peaceful spirit of the trees, teach me stillness in the winds of change. So maybe you used to like climb trees a lot or something like that. I think this guide, like especially if this was a childhood guide, they had a lot of fun with you playing in childhood and being silly. I definitely feel like this guide likes to show up in dreams in some way, but they are showing up as a sloth and as a bull. So those 2, maybe you're a Taurus of some kind as well. We do have a lot of earth energy here, so Taurasian energy could be big here as well. I feel like they know the truest form of you, like this sweet, innocent side of you, and that's why for a lot of you I get this childhood guide. And I feel like they're very proud of how far you've come and how much you've overcome, and like they don't ever want you to forget that like beautiful childlike nature to you that you still have within you, but that might fall away at times because, you know, the demands of the real world can be difficult. But the fact that we have prosperity here, I feel like this guide is saying, you know, they're doing their best to help make sure this career endeavor or whatever this is works in your favor. And actually for some of you, I feel called to say this, if you, especially if like you're a stay-at-home parent, you certainly don't have to be, but they could be helping you with your relationship with your significant other. Like if you're married to someone or have been in a very long-term connection with somebody, like I would say probably like at least a year or more, they're saying that they are trying to help you communicate with this person better and have a stronger connection together. They're here to help you with that. So if that's something relevant to you, you can pray to this guide about this. They are trying to help you, but with tranquility, tolerance, diplomacy, generosity, prosperity, kindness, I feel like these are the qualities that they embody, that they love, and also that they want you to embody, especially if this endeavor of yours, like if it's career related, brings you a lot of monetary gain, I feel like this guide wants you to think about how you can pay it forward in certain ways. So like if there's any charities that are near and dear to your heart, or there are any ways that you can, like for example, if you have children, like maybe this guide wants you to think about how you can put some of that money away for their future, like different things like that. I feel like it'll be different for everybody. But I also think that there is something about saving here as well. If you've been thinking about taking more means to like save for your future, I feel like this guide is encouraging that. I feel like this guide likes to help in very practical ways. I do get a big Taurus energy from this guide, where they want to bless you with a lot of physical abundance in the 3D world, and at the same time they want you to remember that, because I feel like you're going to achieve a lot, and I feel like they want you to remember your humble beginnings and remember that you can always go back to a state of inner peace. Wheat could be significant, as well as poppies, like the flower poppies, and daisies. So this guide could show up through daisies, poppies, sloths, bulls, and wheat. And one big thing that I'm hearing is that you can always connect to this guide through nature, and I feel like this guide might be especially connected to trees, or like climbing trees. So if you used to do that as like a little kid, or even still now, I'm not judging. I feel like this guide is saying that they like hanging out with you in the trees. This is something that I'm hearing. But they know how kind and giving you are, and they just want you to know that they're here to help you along with this stage of your life, whatever it is. And especially if this is a guide from that helped you in childhood and is back, they know your truest, your sweetest childhood self, and they want to make sure that you don't lose that version of yourself as you keep growing and as you keep evolving, because even though you will change, there are certain aspects of your soul that never will. So I want to see what else this guide wants to say to you. Like, what are the big main ideas? Like, what are they helping you with? What do they want you to know? So we have make to start out with. And I think this is really fitting because clearly you're creating something, whether it's creating a more abundant life for yourself, creating a business, creating a family life that you want, creating a house that you are happy to live in, creating opportunities for yourself to move forward. I feel like this guide is all about helping you make it, like literally make it, and make the life that you want, not only so that you can help others, but actualize your truth. You know, I feel like there is this huge like nostalgic love for you. Like they're so shocked by how much you've grown and how much you've evolved, and they know that you are so capable of achieving everything that you want to achieve. And they want you to have more faith that you can follow the things that you've been going after. And clearly you've already been going after them in some capacity, whether you're in school for a particular occupation, whether you have already started a business or something like that, and you've gotten certain ways into it, whether you are starting something like a YouTube channel, for example, or a hobby or a side job. Like, they're kind of saying that they're here to help you with this. They're here to help you in practical ways. They want to be a practical helper, and help you in the 3D specifically. Like they're going to try to make your life as easy as possible. And one thing that I'm hearing specifically is that they might place people, like platonic connections, into your life that could help you achieve this goal. And I feel like tolerance and diplomacy is going to be especially important here, because the more hands that are involved with this, the more difficult it might be to have your input heard, or make sure that everybody's needs are met, or make sure that everyone's being heard. So I feel like a diplomatic nature is going to be very important with this endeavor, and they're going to help you with that. So when people are testing your patience and stuff like that, you can, just ask this guide to help you. And I would say very specifically with this guide, you might want to ask for a sign of what their name is or something like that, because this is a guide that is not with you all the time. It's easier for you to know if it's actually this guide communicating once you have a specific name or a sign to help you along with that. So because that'll be different for everybody, you can just kind of say, you can ask this guide, go, hey, old Seven of Pentacles guide, like, what do you want me to call you? And just pay attention to the signs in the coming days. If there's any names that you hear, or anything that just kind of like gives you a gut feeling, that's likely this guide saying, this is me. But one thing about this tarot card is that this guide is also showing that they will show up in this tarot card. So if you're ever in a reading and asking about guides or what the universe wants you to know, this guide may come through as the Seven of Pentacles to say, hey, I'm here, here to help you with whatever. So 2 main ideas of what this guide wants you to know is share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression, and Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. So yeah, maybe this guide is a like starseed, like if you believe in the concept of star seeds, maybe they're a starseed ancestor, or maybe this is an ancestor. I'm not getting the energy, like I don't feel like this is somebody who has passed on. It could be like that you knew, but the bigger energy that I'm getting is that maybe this is a guide that you knew in like very past lives, or even in different like dimensions or something like that. Because this is definitely a guide, like while they love you very, very much and like they want the best for you, they're not like that main guide that sticks with you through your whole life. They come in and out because they serve a particular purpose in your life. And so I feel like they come back only when you need them, and only when their presence is needed, if that makes sense. And so I feel like for now, what you really need, like what they need you to know, is that they're always sending you light, and they're always trying to send you practical solutions to all of your needs. And with this Star Keeper, this does seem to be some type of ancestor that comes to help when you need them. And with this seed the light by staying grounded, being grounded is especially important in this case, because when it comes to like making decisions, I feel like there's a lot about people like testing your patience, or feeling like you're up against oppressors is what I'm hearing, or up against people that don't want your success. And at times you might doubt that your voice matters, or that your voice is meant to be heard. But this guide is definitely saying like I'm even just hearing like, you know, you used to sing so well, or like you used to have such funny jokes or such funny poems or things. Like there's something about the way you expressed yourself in childhood that they want you to utilize now as an adult or teen or whatever you may be. Hopefully you're not a child. You know, you probably shouldn't be on this part of YouTube if you're a child. So, where are your parents? Anyway, yeah, this guide is really trying to help you see that you're only holding yourself back by not embracing your voice, embracing your full potential. So it's really important to them that you kind of come out of this. I feel like you're almost persecuting yourself in a way, where like you might, even though you're accomplishing a lot and it seems like you're getting really far, you still might doubt like your voice and the value that it has. And I think that honestly, when it comes to this voice, it's not just about your career or anything like that. I think it's also about speaking your truth to other people, speaking your truth, like how you feel about them. Like, for example, if you have a friend in your life that you really care about, you know, not being afraid to say that they mean a lot to you. Like, and I just heard no homo. You know that joke where like guys will say like really, really like dirty stuff, and then they'll be like, but no homo. Like, I feel like you might just not want to express your feelings because you might, to other people, because you might feel weird about that, or like you might just not be sure how to say those certain things to people. But I feel like what this guide is saying is that people really value you, and it would actually mean a lot to them to hear, you know, from you how you actually feel about them. Like, you know, hey, I see you as a great friend, or you help me out a lot, or whatever. I feel like you could be more generous with compliments is what this guide is saying, and that people would actually welcome them. They wouldn't look at you as weird. But what's interesting is that you guys got 5 cards rather than the standard 4. I think pile 3 got 5 cards too, but yeah, you're the other pile that got 5. And so we're going to see what else this guide wants you to know. So we have the 8 of Cups, the King of Cups, the Four of Swords. Okay, you're gonna annoy me. Like, you just need to, Mr. Make, you need to calm down. Okay, good enough. We have the Seven of Swords and the King of Wands. So the current challenges that you're going through, or the current, I don't even want to say challenges, just life experiences that you're going through are solidifying your, or not solidifying, they're improving and evolving your emotional body and your spirit body, if that makes sense. With the King of Wands, I get a very spiritual energy from this. One thing that you need to understand, pile 4, is that I think that you have a lot of doubt, because like I feel like you're pretty far along in your journey when it comes to achieving this goal of some kind, like whatever this goal is, or like one big message that I'm hearing is that you are not this, which is interesting because I feel like this came out in another pile. I can't remember which one. So if you're drawn to another one, there's your cue. You're not the same person that you once were when you started these goals, and that one, it's really important to start giving yourself a break. I feel like this guide might communicate to you in your dreams. The Four of Swords is all about rest. And I feel like there's maybe some inner child healing that needs to happen, or just the ability for you to like allow yourself to take a break, because you might not give that to yourself very often. And one thing that I'm seeing here is that there are some self-sabotaging tendencies that this guide wants you to work on, because this guide knows how far you've come, and they don't want any of your self-limiting beliefs or actions to stop you from moving even more forward. With the King of Cups and the King of Wands, I think that this is really important to talk about, because this is just showing how far you've come. You're not only incredibly emotionally mature, but you also have this really divine connection to not just this guide, but your spirit guides in general, and your spirituality. And you can trust the spiritual urges that you are given, and you have the capabilities of being diplomatic. I feel like one thing that I'm called to say is that if somebody tests your patience, take some time away and detach from those emotions before you make any action. Take time to reflect. I think reflection is huge. But there also might be something you might, I don't want to say this to like scare you or anything, which now you're going to be scared because I said that, but there might be a person in your life, and I feel like if I'm saying this, you'll know who it is, that is not of your highest good and may not want you to succeed. And I feel like this guide is saying that they will show you signs as to who it is, and you probably already know who it is, and that you don't need them to help you with the situation. You have all the agency, you have all of the intuition you need, and you have all the resources and the tools you need to know if that's the case. If you feel like everyone in your life is there and that everything's good and smooth sailing, then this message probably isn't for you. But if there's somebody that you've been suspicious of that is not of your highest good, that is not wanting to help you, that does not want to see you succeed, I feel like this is this guide's way of saying that you're right about that, and feel free to do what you feel called to do about that situation. But you may need to take time and rest and reflect before doing so. But I do think there is a bit about moving forward beyond a lot of emotional hardships that helped form you into who you are, but that are no longer serving you and are at this point holding you back. Because I feel like you've overcome a lot of adversity, you've overcome a lot of change, and a lot of like people or circumstances that were very emotionally taxing on you. And I feel like this guide is saying that whenever you feel lost, whenever you feel really dark and down in the dumps and really crappy, that's when it's important to get grounded, because then you might lose yourself in your emotions, because despite being very emotionally mature, it's easy for all of us to get lost in our emotions and self-sabotage and be hard on ourselves. So I feel like this guide is saying that not only do you have the power to overcome like any any negativity you might be experiencing in the moment through like stillness, through prayer, through meditation. But also there are things in your past that just don't even deserve any airtime in your brain anymore. And that you're more than ready to move past them, move beyond them. Like, I feel like these are just past experiences that replay in your head sometimes, and you might just be wondering, like, did I do the right thing? Like, why did this happen the way it happened? And I feel like if there's any answers about this situation that you need, or situations that you need to know, they're gonna come to you naturally. And otherwise, they're not worth replaying in your head anymore. It's like the circumstances are different. You're not that same person. Things happen the way they happen. And it might be because you're very sensitive and you might wonder, like, is there anything I ever could have done to change it? Or is there anything I ever could have done to make it better? And I feel like Spirit is saying, you know, this guide especially is saying, the reasons for these things happened the way they happened, and that was how they were going to happen. That's how they were meant to happen. Accept that for what it is and keep moving forward. You don't need to give this area of your life so much airtime, especially if there was someone in your past, for example, that betrayed you and really hurt you. I feel like, you know, while that sucks, Spirit is kind of saying, you know, this guide is really trying to showcase to you that this person, this event, it's no longer worth your energy. And if you need any more answers about it, they'll give it to you, and they'll help you. But if it's affecting your state of being, your state of mind, I feel like that's when it's important to give yourself a break, give yourself a rest, and kind of just find that stillness and go within, because it's not worth your sanity. It's not worth your peace of mind. So to finish off, we are going to get you some encouraging messages from this spirit guide and see what they want to say to you. So pile 4 spirit guide, what do you want pile 4 to know at this time? Okay, let's see what's on the back of the deck first. So on the back of the deck, my vibes speak louder than my words. So yeah, I think so. Sometimes like you might think that you sound fine and you look fine, but if the vibes are off, this guide is just like, this guide already knows what's up, but like you might be surprised how many people may be able to tell you're in a bad mood or you're not doing well just based on the vibes. And also, if there's somebody that you're suspicious of, pay attention to the vibes. Actions lie, words lie, but energy does not lie. We also have the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. I think there's a lot about surrendering the outcome and just trusting, because I do feel like you're in this phase of like waiting for things to happen. And I feel like maybe that's why this guide is coming in, to like entertain you and say, hey, wow, there's a lull in all of this going on. Let's address some internal things. Let's take time to rest. Let's take time to heal. We also have the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. And then finally, I surrender to a power greater than me. So we have butterflies coming in a lot. So this guide could come through as butterflies as well, which I think is really beautiful, because it does seem like this guide has seen you transform in a lot of ways. And so I feel like this is kind of a way of this guide saying that they're very proud of you. They're proud of the transformations you've gone through. And not only that, you're just going to keep growing. You're just going to keep getting stronger. And they're so proud of how much progress you've made, how much you have really overcome a lot of adversaries and circumstances in your way. So yeah, you've been doing a great job, and this guide is really proud of you. And I feel like this guide really just like loves working with you and loves having the opportunity to be in your life, which is why they wanted to come through and say, hey, I may not be here all the time, but I value and cherish all the time that we do have together. And I love having the opportunity to guide you through your life. And especially if they're coming back after childhood, after like being with you in your childhood, I feel like, you know, they just love the person that you've grown into. They love who you are, and they love that they got to be there for those special childhood moments and those special childhood times, because those were really special to them, and hopefully they're special to you too, because I feel like that was their best way to connect with you, and like the purest way for them to connect with you. And so yeah, they're very connected to your childhood in some way. But I am going to leave this reading here, pile 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this reading all the way through. If you did, definitely let me know down in the comments how it resonates. I would love to hear. And if you have not already and you would like to, I would love it if you subscribed and click the little bell notification. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave it a like and let me know down in the comments how it resonates. I probably already said that. I have ADD, horrible short-term memory, sorry. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards and channel your guide. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 5. If you guys chose this Picasso Jasper, this is going to be your reading for the spirit guide coming through. Now, I've been kind of looking forward to doing this particular pile. I'm only realizing this now because I've done all the other ones and I'm like processing it, but this guide has been coming through very strong. And in fact, before I did this reading, specified that they wanted to be connected to this Picasso Jasper. So that could be a special stone. But one song that I was hearing before I started was Born to Be Wild by Motley Crue. But yeah, this spirit guide is not only funny, but yeah, they've got a personality all their own. So let's just see who they are and what they are being showcased as. And what I said with all of the piles is that because I am channeling a bunch of different spirit guides, the specific guide might be different. So I will give various interpretations for what I think it might be. But so for you, because this is a general reading, in order to help you know like what messages are for you, you can either use like the feeling of chills to help you indicate that. If I say something and immediately you're just like, oh, like, yeah, like that's for me, then that is typically the message for you. Don't force anything if it doesn't feel right, but you should know like what messages are going to be the most accurate for you. Like it'll just feel right, if that makes sense. But your guide is coming through as the King of Wands, and he is definitely a King of Wands. So I'm going to use the pronouns he, because this does feel like a very masculine guide, and it's also a guide that has an attitude, that's for sure. The possibility of this being somebody that you knew on the earthly plane, there could be a few of you to help you. This person would definitely be a fire sign, and it's likely that they were very opinionated, very bold, a wonderful natural leader, very strong. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is just a guide that they're either always with you, they could be a part of your soul family, or they could be like there's kind of like a fatherly energy to it. If not fatherly, more just like big brotherly, or just some type of male that's very fond of you. Not in a romantic way is kind of like what I want to, it could be, but because like I don't want to rule out that option, but it doesn't really feel like a romantic-y type thing. It feels more like a genuine like loving energy that's pretty masculine and wants the best for you. So this guide could be like, for some of you, if you're spiritual practitioners or something like that, this guide could help you specifically with like tarot reading or occult things, mediumship, something like that. This guide could be some sort of intermediary. One thing that I'm noting is that this guide is very protective over you and they love you a lot. But there also is an energy to this guide of tough love. Like, not that this guide is like gonna directly give you tough love, but this guide sees the best in you, as all guides should, but they kind of want you to embody the qualities that they see in themselves. This guide is really funny because they have such a personality and they come through in a very like pronounced way. For some of you, this guide might actually have a more androgynous energy to them. Like they might be more feminine sometimes, they might be more masculine sometimes. But I feel like they do tend to lean towards like a masculine energy. This guide is he's so funny. Like I just see him like in these, you know, like he is the embodiment of the cool guy emoji, like with the sunglasses. That's how he wants to be seen. Like he believes in you and he sees the best in you. He's very connected to you through the spiritual realm. I would not be shocked if he communicates with you all the time. For some of you, this could be your main guide. For others, this could be a guide that is like on your spiritual team that comes and goes. But I feel like the type of guide is different. But whenever this guide is around, I just have to specify that you will know, because they are fierce with a capital F, and they might, besides the animals I'm about to show, they might show themselves, like I'm getting animals that they might show up as: salamander, like lizard of some kind, lion, cheetah. But they are very fierce, and they see the qualities in you that are the most powerful, and they aim to amplify those. It's their goal to make you the best leader, even if you don't see yourself as a leader. Like, even just if leader to you means taking the lead in your own life. They also could help you a lot with like your creativity. The King of Wands is a lot about your passions and things like that, and Picasso Jasper is actually a stone of creativity. So this guide could help you a lot with your creativity, your creative endeavors, especially if you're a writer of some kind, but or like a comedy writer or like a cartoonist or something. They like to help you with your creative ideas. Like, this guide is really funny, is something that I'm getting, and they might have a sick sense of humor sometimes, and they might communicate to you in really funny ways, or just really off the ball ways. Like, and you might not even notice them, but sometimes if you feel like the universe is like poking at you or poking fun at you, it's probably this guide. Because I think that this guide enjoys like this guide is the embodiment of like when somebody comes and like grabs your head and like nuzzles it, not in like an aggressive, annoying way, but like in an affectionate way. Like, this is the guide that gets a little, like, if they were a human, they would get a little too rough with you sometimes, but it's only just because they're like excited and they love being around you, if that makes sense. They have a very bright, fun energy that can be a lot at times, and I almost like see them like rolling their eyes at me calling them a lot, but they're awesome. They're totally awesome. But if you're not used to like guide communication, sometimes you might be like, is the universe like laughing at me? Like, why is the universe acting like this? It's this guide. and I have to be clear, like, they love you so much, and they want the best for you, and like we'll get into that. But like, this guide definitely, like, this is not the guide that's gonna come to you and be like, oh no, you sweet little baby, like, come here, I'll take care of you, like, oh, like little baby talk. Like, this guy's not gonna baby talk. They're gonna be like, look, bud, like, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, like, get your snazzy dancing shoes on and get out on the dance floor. Like, we're gonna we're gonna charm some ladies tonight, or we're gonna make some men swoon. Like, whatever it is, like, this is the guy they're not gonna put your head in your lap and pet your head and be like, oh, you poor sweet baby, like, it's okay, like, it's fine. They're gonna be like, nah, like, we're gonna get up, we're gonna make this better. Like, this guide is all about action and all about how they can make your life better. And that is especially why I'm like, this guy doesn't have very nurturing energy. They have very like masculine, like, we're gonna take action to solve your problems, like. And so maybe for some of you that are very feminine, that might be confusing sometimes, because you might be more receptive to nurturing energy, but this guide is clearly coming through because they want you to be more receptive to their form of guidance, is kind of what I'm hearing, because they could benefit you and they want to benefit you. And I feel like the majority of the reason why I did this reading is so that this guide could just come through and be like, hey, like, I'm here. I needed some physical way to show you my presence. So yeah, this guide is a funny guy. I'm like, I can't stop laughing. Like, this guy is so funny. Like, I wish I could show you what's going on in like my brain and like what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, but like, I really enjoy having this guide in my presence. And I could see how if you're like really down in the dumps or feeling like crap, you might not want this guide coming in, which like now I kind of feel like the guy's like, hey, like, don't say that, but like, he's intense sometimes. We just have to, you're kind of intense sometimes, Mr. Guide. So if you ever feel like he is coming through too intensely, or he's not being kind or nurturing enough, you just need to say like, listen, like, I need you to tone it down a little bit, and he will. But yeah, he's quite an interesting guy. So let's see what he comes through as With these two cards, these will represent qualities that either this guide embodies or views to be highly desirable. I will also say that this guide is very protective of you. So if you find that, like, you know how rejection is divine protection? This guide, like, for example, if you're gonna go on a date with somebody and they cancel or they ghost you, like, this guide is looking out for you in ways like that. Like, they're not gonna, they don't want to see you get hurt. They don't want to, like, and now that doesn't mean they can stop it from happening, but they will try to the best they can. And that's kind of where I get, like, the tough love energy. Like, they will create things in your life that will happen, and they'll be upsetting to you, and you won't understand why they'll happen, but this guide will take peace in knowing that the alternative would have been much worse, and, like, they're saving you from something. Like, this guide is the embodiment of, like, rejection is divine protection. They're really awesome. Like, I love this guide. Like, I love this guide so much. They're so fun. Okay, so we're gonna see what animals they might show up as to you. So, like, signs that they can show up as, and qualities. So to start, we have the barging badger, which is accurate. Determination, focus, advancement, tireless and resourceful one. Lend me your ferocious spirit and spunk. Yeah, this guide is like the embodiment of honey badger. Like, don't give a shit. Like, they might come through in the form of yellow flowers or yellow butterflies. Hufflepuff, like, that could be significant in some way. Which is kind of funny because this guide is definitely much more of like a Gryffindor, but at the same time, they're very sweet. And maybe if you're like maybe you're like a Hufflepuff type. So this guide kind of loves that about you, and they have this protective energy of, like, they want to protect that nature, but they also at times, I feel like this guide is very like, I want you to be more like me, like, because this guide knows that they're the shit, and so they want you to see yourself and, like, the qualities that they have in yourself as well, because you do have them. You know, determination, focus, advancement. This guide is here to help you take the lead in your own life and take the lead in following your passions and following your dreams, and saying no is a big thing, and knowing what's right for you. Even if you don't want to be a leader in the literal sense, this guide is all about helping you take the lead in your own life. And like, this guide, like I said, tireless, this guide will not give up. Like, they will give you as much communication as you want. And they love your attitude, like this free-spirited attitude that you can have, this spunky attitude. They love it most when you're being yourself and you're being young, wild, and free, and, like, silly and fun. Obviously, they want you to be safe and they want to protect you, but they love it when you are expressing yourself in very true ways. And we also have delightful deer, clarity, adaptability, divination. Mystical companion of the fairy folk, bless me with your sharp sense of sight. So yeah, especially if you're into the occult or some form of divination, I think that this guide is around you, specifically protecting you. They're also here to help you see clearly with things. So if maybe you've been looking into divination or you want to get into it more, this is your guide's way of saying that they've been leading you to this, because they want to have you might not want to be communicating with them as much as they want to communicate with you, because trust me, this guide has thoughts and they will give them to you. I'm hearing that kind of seeing and hearing that the colors red, orange, yellow, truthfully, those three colors are really significant to this guide. This guide might have red hair as well or something like that, but they are like your companion, like, they're here to protect you. Fairies could have some significance. I don't have anything to tell me this, but I feel like acorns could be another symbol of this guide. They might guide you through acorns, but they're here to help you. They're here to help you move forward, and they are your connection to the spirit world. Like, I feel like this is a guide that protects you from negative energies or negative spiritual entities. This guide helps facilitate that communication. This is a guide that is happy to be a messenger, that is happy to guide you. This is a guide that is, like, definitely always taking action towards your highest good, and, like I said, is not afraid to implement tough love that you might not realize is tough love, but is their way of protecting you, because they would rather see you cry in the short term and protect you than have you go through something that's detrimental and see you crying all the time. Like, it's the sort of like vibe that I'm getting. So trust me, when you wonder why something falls through, trust that this guide had something to do with it, and they had something to do with it in a very protective way that was good for you. But yeah, they want you to get closer to your spirituality, mainly because they just want to talk to you. I feel like this guide can make you laugh really hard if you would just let them. And maybe if you already know who this guide is, you're like, yep, you know, there you are, there you are, Steve. I don't know, I just made up Steve. Their name doesn't have to be Steve, but they're a funny guy and a funny guide, and they're here to help you move forward. And one thing that I'm like called to say as well is that even though this is a guide that's very funny and very like jovial and has a lot of energy and likes to make their presence known, they are still very serious. Like, they're still a leader. They're ambitious, they're driven. You know, they're not a page, they're not a knight, they're a king. And so they can be very methodical. They know how to guide others. They know how to lead others. And I would be willing to bet that if this guide was ever incarnated in a spiritual, in a physical world, they probably were a very high-ranked leader or something like that. Like, they gained a lot of prestige. And I think that their morality is very important. And so if morality is important to you, I would say that is an extension of this guide, as well as your reputation. This guide really cares about reputation and wants to make sure your reputation is protected, and they want to see you move forward. They want to see you go as far as possible, and because you have this ferocious spirit within you, and that's why this guide loves you so much, because you may not bring that out all the time. You may be this sweet deer that doesn't like to ruffle feathers or anything like that. This guide is a feather ruffler in like the best way possible, because this guide wants you to stick to your truth even if other people don't like it. This is a very strong energy, and I feel like this is a guide that is probably going to be with you for the majority of your life. Maybe they didn't come in until later. You know, maybe they came in during your teens or adulthood, but they're here to help you harness that inner ferocious spirit and help you move forward with your goals and your dreams. They really love you, and they really want to help you in the best way possible and in their way. And I think other guides will help you in more nurturing ways and in different ways like that. But this guide is going to help you specifically with embodying that fierce fire energy within you. So let's see what they are helping you with right now currently. And we have boundaries. So I think this is very, very telling of this guide, because like I said, this guide does have a protective energy, and where you might be the type of person to people please or allow people to walk all over your boundaries, this is the guide that's going to teach you how to say no and how to choose yourself first, because this guide wants you to know your worth. He wants you to understand how special and how precious you are, and that your boundaries matter, and that you are allowed to say no when you're uncomfortable. You're allowed to say no if you're tired. You're allowed to say no. And I mean that to like anything. Like, if somebody wants you to come help them and you don't really feel like it because you're tired, that doesn't make you a bad person. You're allowed to say no, because your guide wants you to focus on your goals, on your dreams. If you're too busy helping everybody else, you can't help yourself. And this guide is all about being resourceful and helping yourself first. You know, fill up your cup first, and with what runneth over, you can give away. But like, this guide is smart, and this guide is going to help you embrace your masculine energy no matter what you identify as. Especially if it's unbalanced, like if you have a lot more feminine energy, this guide may come in and help you kind of assert yourself more and not be afraid to be more like dominating. But I don't mean that in like a weird way. I just mean it in like a, hey, like, your needs are valuable, your wants are valuable, and your dreams are valuable. You know, don't sacrifice those to make other people happy. Don't dim your light to fit in. You know, that's not right. So let's see what else your guide wants you to know. So we have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. And lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. So yeah, Macy, what? Recently, you may have made some sort of decisions, or you've been viewing the world a lot differently. I don't know if like Toronto is significant in any way, but I kind of noticed like what looks like the CN Tower right there. So if you're like Canadian, or Toronto is significant in some way, I guess that's being pointed out to me. But I feel like the reason why this guide is coming in so strongly and is so intense about this is because maybe you were incarnated with this guide in past lives. Maybe this guide was like a mentor or some kind. That's like a heavy energy, getting like mentor energy. He's like, he knows what you're capable of, and he's going to keep you on the right track. And I think that you're having realizations that there are certain things in your life that are just not meant to be there. And so I feel like this guide is helping you say no to the things that aren't meant for you. Because at this point, you've come too far and overcome too much not to achieve your dreams. So this is the guide that's essentially going to stay with you and help keep you on track and follow your goals and follow your passions so that you can be the best version of yourself, if that makes sense, which is really awesome. So essentially, whenever you're feeling unfocused, whenever you're feeling like, whenever you're feeling like you're, what is it? You're feeling unfocused, you're feeling unsure of yourself, unsure of your purpose, call on this guide. And I would even be willing, like, I would ask this guide to show you what they want to be called, what he or they wants to be called, because they have a personality. I mean, like, they'll let you know. Like, I feel like if you just ask and, you know, like, wait like a day or two, and you'll either hear a name a bunch, see a name a bunch, or you'll just, a name will come by and you'll get like a punch to the gut, not like a literal one, but just like oh, I think that's their name. You'll know. It's kind of weird. And I say you'll know because I feel like I know those things. So you might need tons of signs. You might have to ask for them to be repeated, but I have no other advice to say other than you'll know, because typically when you know, you know. So at this time, I feel like they're saying that they don't, this guy doesn't want you to be afraid of all of the heavy realizations you might be going through, like certain things that maybe are not part of your purpose, or things that you thought were good that are holding you back. I feel like this guide is saying that you are so strong. You don't need these things that you thought you needed. Like, when they fall away, accept that. Like, you are so much more prepared for your journey than you think you are. And, you know, they just want you to be determined and focused on your path. You know, don't get too bogged down by like certain people or certain situations. And with adaptability, I think that's going to be really important, because you might realize that a way you were going about certain things may not be the most effective. And so you might have to regroup at some point and be like, okay, I need to change this. And they're going to help you see down your path more clearly. So if you're ever unsure about something, feel free to ask this guide. Like, they're more than happy to help you. Like I said, they're incredibly communicative. Like, they were even like communicating to me. So like, even before I like did the reading, like this reading was for this guide. Like, I mean, all the readings were important. They all had purposes, but this was the guide like coming through specifically to me to be like, hey, it's time to do this. Like, we need to do this reading. Like, I've got messages. And so I'm like, all right. Like, and that doesn't mean that like this King of Wands came and like, hey, I'm the King of Wands, like pile 5. Like, it comes naturally. And then for me, like, I don't understand it completely until I'm in the moment. And I'm like, oh, so this is why like this was happening. And that's why the Picasso Jasper, like, it all kind of falls into place. And so that's how it's kind of going to work for you, where this guide's going to communicate with you. And you may not necessarily know it's them. You may not necessarily understand why you're being led to certain places, but the clarity comes through action. So I had to go through, 4 piles, 4 different readings, a bunch of different energies to reach the end and have the clarity of, oh, this is why this reading was coming through so strongly. This is why Picasso Jasper was coming through so strongly. Like, when I just put the stones on the cards like randomly. I don't, I knew I was going to use Picasso Jasper because I was told to use Picasso Jasper, but I didn't know what was going to go where. So like I was saying, you just have to trust. And when you take action, because this guide is all about action. And what's funny is that I know how energetic this guide can also help you with your energy, because like in a different pile, I think like pile 2, I felt so drained, and like now I'm like so energetic. Like, I feel like I could, like, I don't know, fight like a monkey. Like, I don't want to fight a monkey. The monkey would probably beat the shit out of me. I don't know. I don't want to fight anything, but I have a lot of energy. I guess that's all I'm saying. But yeah, this guide is silly, this guide is goofy, and this guide has a lot of energy, and they're more than happy to communicate with you. So let's see what message they have for you using these tarot cards. So to start, we have the Ace of Cups, we have the Five of Cups, we have the Six of Cups, and we have the High Priestess. Okay. So what's interesting is that this guide is actually coming through to talk about your love life. It may not be your love life for some of you, but this is something very important to you emotionally is kind of what I'm seeing. And there's a few different variations. The main idea though is with the High Priestess. And with this High Priestess, this guide is saying, with this divination as well, you can trust your gut. One, you can trust your gut feelings about people. Two, you can trust where you're being led. Three, this guide wants you to trust your intuition more because it's going to make their communication with you a lot more effective. For some of you, this guide might be a childhood friend that passed on, or like a family member that passed on, like that you were close to in childhood. It doesn't have to be. For some of you, this is about love though. Like maybe you asserted boundaries with someone and they didn't like that and they fell away, and you might be like really disappointed, really upset about that. This guide is saying that happened for a reason, and there's either some type of soulmate connection that's coming in soon, or there's a connection with a soulmate. And now this soulmate doesn't have to be romantic, it could be platonic, that is either coming in or you're reuniting with. But they don't want you to be sad about whatever this love thing is. They're asking you to look on the bright side and trust that if somebody falls away, if somebody's truly meant for you, they will come back. They will come for you. And also, it's like really late at night, and for some reason I'm hearing birds chirping. So birds could have some significance. But with this Ace of Cups here, one thing that I'm also seeing is that this might not just be about love. This could also be about creativity and like emotional fulfillment. This guide is asking you to channel any sadness, any like feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, stuff like that. Channel it into your creative endeavors. Don't be afraid to create sad things, dark things. Like I feel like that's one thing they're saying. Just create, like get those feelings out. But also, there's a lot of inspiration within your childhood that could help you a lot. So they want you to be focused on certain, like if you're, for example, like if you have writer's block right now, or you are doing something creative and you're lacking inspiration, this guide wants you to look at darker themes, and they want you to look at your childhood, because there might be sources of inspiration there. And I feel like they want you to take those negative feelings you have and channel them into something productive and positive, which is a lot of what the King of Wands is about. And through that, you'll see the light. And I think that you will have bursts of inspiration, but they don't want you to miss any opportunities because you're too busy, you know, being sad about things or reflecting on things that aren't helping you. There's a wealth of information inside of you. And I feel like this guide is being very cryptic. And I do think for a lot of you, there's something about your love life that they're trying to communicate with you about, especially if you're single. I would say if you're with somebody, they might be asking you to reassess your situation. Not like, I'm not saying that they're saying like break up with your partner or something, but what I'm saying is like, don't be afraid to assert boundaries with this person. Don't be afraid to talk about more difficult things. Like if you're afraid of like not keeping the peace or something, anybody who is there for your highest good, they are not going to be upset with you when you assert your boundaries or you feel the need to make your needs known. And I also think that when you have a rough day, like if you are with somebody, for example, this guide is saying that, you know, if you have a supportive partner that loves you, like don't be afraid to let them know how you're feeling and what you're going through, even if it's not like just a bad day, like maybe you've been having a really rough time lately. I feel like this guide wants you to be more open about that, because it could lead to more opportunities to be emotionally open with your partner. But if you've been sad because somebody left your life recently, or you've been feeling like you're never going to find love or something like that, it seems like a soulmate connection could be coming in very soon, but you have to intuitively take that opportunity and be willing to take it. But you might be feeling in your gut that you might be reuniting with someone romantically, maybe from your past that you were disappointed about. So there might be an opportunity for that. This guide is saying, you know, if that happens, you need to assert your boundaries, trust that this guide is here protecting you, and trust your intuition. So there are a couple different messages here, but they're all about emotions, essentially, and that you can trust your emotions. And I feel like when it comes to like the messages about people, the people that keep you grounded are going to be very important. But people are either roots or leaves, and they're either here to keep you grounded to the earth, or they just flow away naturally. Some people are here for a reason, and some people are here for a season. And while it might be disappointing to see people fall away, those that are truly here for a reason, you'll know and you'll understand why those other people had to fall away. So these better people could come in. So there could be a fresh emotional beginning in some way, but follow your intuition first and foremost. You'll know, you'll be able to discern what is right for you and what is not. And I do just want to say for sure, boundaries are so essential here. And if somebody reacts negatively to your boundaries, or is mean to you because of that, or something like that, they do not have your best interests at heart. Anybody who is there for your highest good will respect your boundaries and respect your needs. So do not be afraid to communicate that, and don't feel like you have to be somebody that you're truly not. This guide wants you to embody your ferocious spirit and spunk, and part of that's going to attract the best partner, like especially if that's what you're looking for. It's going to happen when you are embodying your truest self. The person that's right for you, they're going to love you for who you are, not what you have or what you do. And they're certainly not going to ask you to stifle your spirit or stifle everything that you are just to fit in better or fit in with what they want. So trust your intuition. And also I would look more, crystal ball scrying is the one thing that I was just hearing, but this guide wants to connect with you more. So if you've been looking into divination, this guide has a lot that they want to communicate with you. And I think depending on who you are and what your specific situation is, the more you practice divination, the clearer answers you can get from this guide. But also don't be afraid to assert boundaries with this guide. This guide might get really pushy because they want you to start practicing asserting boundaries. So if you say, hey, like I need a break, come back later, this guide will respect that. They will respect your boundaries because they love you and they want to show you how to do them. So they might poke and prod at you solely to get you to assert boundaries. So yeah, that's what they want you to know. But we're going to finish off with some messages from them and see what they want you to know. Okay, so what does this King of Wands guide, what do they want to say to pile 5? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, they have a lot of thoughts. So on the back of the deck, we have my fearless freedom lights up the world. This came out in pile 4. But we also have, oh my God, you guys got a lot. This guy had a lot of thoughts for you. I witness the darkness and call in the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. And like this is a guide that's totally teaching you their way. And it might not feel like love all the time, but it is coming from a place of love. And I almost feel like this guide saying it in a sarcastic way, like, thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear. This guy does not like fear. Through the eyes of the teacher, me, of love, because they're trying to show you how much they love you and how much they want to support you and how powerful you are. They're here to teach you all of this, and yeah, they absolutely adore you. But sometimes people or spirits, spirit guides, show their love their way, and it might be different than our way, but they want you to understand them so that they can better understand you and you guys can co-create with each other better. But there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. And that's why this guide is kind of intense with you and maybe hard sometimes to work with, because they love you so much. They want your dreams to happen. They can be very rigid about how those dreams, about who is allowed in your life and who is allowed to come around you, because they want you to achieve your dreams, and they will get rid of anyone or anything that is not going to support that. We also have my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. And that's why your happiness is so important to them. And that's why tough love is so big. So like when somebody, so you're like, yeah, well, having this person ghost me, like that didn't make me happy. But this guy is saying that person would have made you a lot less happy, and they would have made you like this 5 of Cups all the time. So just trust, like, rejection is divine protection, and we want you to be happy. And so if I have to knock a dumb bitch out of the way, like, what this guide's words, not mine, to make sure that you stay happy, like, I'm gonna do it. That's kind of their energy. We also have, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. I feel like this guide is dying to talk to you through meditation and through that like stillness energy, which is hard because this guide is very dynamic. So I think even when you're unable to achieve a state of meditation, you can still find ways to communicate with this guide. Working out outdoors is a sign I just heard. Like, if you're ever going for a walk or a run or something like that, pay attention to the signs then, because I feel like that's when this guide might try to communicate with you, like when you're exercising. And finally, I honor how I want to feel. So this guide wants you to know that, like, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to feel bad. Like, honor those, but then move forward. You know, don't get stuck in them. But like, that's not this guide's job to say those things. But I feel like this guide just wants you to know, like, how much more they want to communicate with you, and like they want you to understand their style of communication, so that you don't think that they're not supporting you, or that they're not helping you achieve your dreams, because they are. It just might look different than how you expect it to, and it might look different than how your other guides go about things. This guide has a very unique brand, I guess I would say, and they have their own way of going about things. And what they want you to understand is that, like, honoring how you want to feel. So if you feel like you want this guide to buzz off for a little while, they'll honor that, like, is kind of what they're saying, because they know that they might not always be the best guide to help you, like, especially when you're feeling really down. Like, at that point, you might want a nurturing guide that's going to come and help you and be caring and help you with that. But once you're energized and you're ready to roll, that's when you want to call this guide back in. And you know, your guide is never going to be upset with you if you set boundaries with him. Like, they'll be like, okay, like, I understand. Your guides love you unconditionally, and they truly want the best for you. So just trust that, like, this guide is here to help you move forward, to help you be the best version of yourself, and to accomplish your dreams and strengthen your intuition and help you, you know, find your way in the world. So don't be afraid to tell this guide to buzz off sometimes if they're being, like, intense or anything like that, because they will honor those boundaries. And it's kind of like they're following by example. They're making you assert boundaries with them, so that you can see what it's like to assert boundaries and then assert boundaries with others. So that's really cool. This guide came through in a really cool way, and I'm really happy I got to channel them. So pile 5, I'm gonna leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much for watching this all the way through. If you did, definitely let me know down in the comments how it resonates. I would love to hear. Have you seen present, like, versions of this guide before? Are you aware of them? Are you like, oh, yep, there they are? I would love to hear. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you left a like, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribed and hit that little bell button, so that you can be notified every time I upload a new reading. Thank you guys so much for watching this all the way through. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!